Hello, everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Kiss My Wax Remastered. I am one of your co-hosts, Jason Herndon, and with me, as always, is Joe Lalich. What's up, Joe?
Hey, what's going on?
And joining us again on most of our Wax episodes, John Humphrey.
What's up? Hey, guys.
What's up, man?
I've never been that excited in my whole life.
I'm always excited. You want to talk about vinyl? I'm all about it.
That's right.
What battleship?
That's right.
What aircraft carrier?
What aircraft carrier? That's right. So it's been a long time, a long time.
In fact, has.
It's been a long time since Joe and I and Nicholas and Five we recorded anything. I think it's been over 4 months since we recorded anything. And then I don't think Humphrey, has it been a year since you've been on the show?
Probably, yeah.
Man,
well, I mean, you remember we all had our creative differences, and we had to get our agents,
right.
Our people talking to our people, and
get our lawyers in a room.
Right. So finally, John Humphrey can be back on the show. Obviously, you see, John 5 isn't with us.
That's right.
we haven't reached a negotiation point with him yet.
That's
so
right.
We'll see.
Yeah. He's busy in South America. He hadn't had time to talk to his people. So
right.
That's right.
Yeah, he's kind of busy doing stuff.
That's right. But yeah, I guess people have been messaging me, and I guess people are thinking the show is dead, which it kind of is. So, but this is an episode we're gonna jump into today is something that Joe and John and I have been talking about. Huh? We've been talking about.
Been asking me if it's dead, and
it kind of is.
No, we're bringing it back.
What a selling point. Jason Herndon, the dark cloud known as Jason Herndon. It's mostly dead.
Yeah,
and if anybody gets to declare this thing dead, it'll be me.
But this is an episode that we all have been talking about wanting to do for a long time now. It's a subject that we've been wanting to revisit because we've talked about rare records before. So this time we're going to tackle I'll go ahead and say, we have the top 20 rarest records in the old Kiss My Wax books.
Yeah.
And we're going to kind of go through that list and discuss changes, things that have maybe come out since then, or things that have come up since then, or perspectives that have changed, all of those sorts of things, and just see what do we think maybe gets bumped off this list, and some things that get added to this list, and maybe some rearranging of this list. It was a great list back then.
Oh, absolutely. So, I learned a lot and found some things that I didn't even know existed.
That's right. And that is still the case for several of these things on here. But there are a few things that I think that we can safely say, we see those quite a bit, and there maybe are definitely
as rare
some
as we once thought.
That's right. And there are definitely some things that have kind of surfaced rarely on eBay or in collectors' hands or stuff that may jump on that list. So anyway, that's what we're going to do. Kind of an open forum discussion, and see what we end up with here at the end.
Yeah, and I think it's a good. I mean, these kinds of episodes for me anyway are great because I think hopefully they'll stir up some conversation.
Yes.
Both in the YouTube comments and then on the group itself. I'd love to see what people think are the 2023 list, or should be in the 2023 list of rarest Kiss records. Because like you say, I mean, this book has been, I think, an indispensable reference guide for a lot of people for a lot of years. I think at this point, it's just, I think we've all learned, we all see some of these things around more often than not. And, I think the other discussion to be had is, money versus scarcity, right? If people know something is worth a whole bunch of money, even if there aren't many copies out there, they're going to be, they're going to be more willing to put that record up there, and people are going to be, it's sort of like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Almost like a contrived scarcity or rarity, I guess. Right. It is rare, but you see them all the time because they're worth a bunch of money, and whoever has them, if they need to get money, or are just selling off, that's where they're going to start, Right. So I think some of these records fall into that category. So I think there's a couple of categories, like the extremely rare records that are worth a bunch of money, the extremely rare records that maybe we haven't even seen or have just recently seen or have never seen in the wild and have been, in our Discogs lists for,
a decade,
almost a decade or a half a decade for sure. Right.
Yeah. It'd be interesting to, it'd be nice. I wish we could have somebody like Olav Kinn on here, somebody like that has, 1,500, 2,000 Kiss records to see, just what, does he have some of these that we were talking about before we were recording? Does he have a couple of these pieces, And these photos had to come from somewhere. So, and also I just want to point out before we get started that we're not disparaging this list in any way. Like I said, it's a great list. And a lot of it still holds up, I think. And we're by no means making our definitive list. We're just having a discussion about, what the changes might have been.
Yeah, I mean, that's the beauty about these guys, right? They're ever evolving. Sure. We gain more knowledge through the years. We learn a lot more through a podcast and through the group we belong, with this. And I mean, it's always changing and evolving. So yeah, we just learn from it.
That's right.
It's a little bit like driving a brand new car off the lot, right? It's almost, it drops in value immediately. And that's the same thing with this. Like the second you print it, people are going to come out of the woodwork and go, oh, wait a minute, I have this and that and this and that. And it almost just sort of begs the question of all the things. I mean, even in this book, there's plenty of things that I've found that I've actually added in that were things that weren't in the book. Over time. So, there's a ton of stuff I think that can be added. And I think there's a ton of stuff that we've learned in has it been 6, 7 years since this came out?
Yeah.
Was it 15? Like 2015? 16? 16. I think it was 2016, maybe.
Yeah. So
you're right. 17 on the one I have.
Oh, okay. That's what it is.
Yeah.
So like I said, Jason, 6 years.
That's right. It does say 2017. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, so anyway, I mean, look, a lot has happened, since then.
Absolutely.
I mean, I think even the pandemic has wrestled a lot of this stuff loose with a lot of people getting into collecting and collectibles in general during the pandemic, people who had disposable income. I think a lot of things, people had a lot of time on their hands and a lot of disposable income. And I think a lot of things have sort of bubbled up to the surface that we might otherwise not have known about. So
absolutely. Right. So where do we want to start, Joe? I think you suggested before we started recording, maybe at the bottom of this list, and then we can just kind of discuss the each record. And
did we want to do a what's in the box?
Do we want to do that?
It's up to you guys. You want to just do it quick? Let's do it.
Yeah,
it's been a while. Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. Well, hold on. I can't. Oh no, that's not what I want to do. It's a well-oiled machine here.
We'll edit that out. The show's almost dead. Don't worry.
Yeah, that's right. I don't even know how to get down there anymore. I see. It's been so long. I can't even use the damn function of this thing. Hold tight.
I'm gonna open it.
Oh, what's in the box? What's in the fucking box?
All right. So, Joe, you want to go?
Yeah, I'll go. I just have a couple of quick things here. So, Destroyer Turkey. So here's the back. So I always forget it's like flying a plane. It's all in reverse. So there's the back with the Max logo here.
Yeah, the Max. Yeah,
that's pretty cool. And then there's a label on that guy.
Cool.
Yeah. So that was a recent pickup for me. And then Unmasked Mexico. One of these splatter variants.
Oh, that's awesome.
Love it.
Yeah, so
that's beautiful. I love that one.
Yeah, it's a good one. I'm assuming this is what would you guys say? Is this the green base or the yellow base?
I don't know. I mean, that's a cool mix. It's, that's hard to say. Mine's definitely way more green than that one.
Yeah.
That's weird.
It's beautiful.
And there were 3 of these. Somebody correct me if I'm wrong. There's 3 of these, right? There's
You're
the
clearly
green
wrong.
base, what's that?
I said you're clearly wrong.
So
Anyway,
yeah,
go ahead.
So a green base, a yellow base, and help me with the last one.
And a free base.
Clear, kind of a clear base.
Clear, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
that's right. So there you
That's
go. I don't
awesome.
know. I'll let everybody make the call. I would say this is a green base.
Yeah.
But who knows, right? It kind of there's a
don't
lot
know.
of yellow in there too. But anyway, there's that, and here's the back cover of that guy.
Oh, it's
Nice.
in good shape.
It's in good shape, yeah. Way better shape than mine. Mine is covers all falling apart.
And I
That's
still
cool.
I still say they stink.
So, which color variants of the Mexican Unmasked do you have now?
This is it. That's the only
That's it?
splattered. Yeah, that's the only one that I have.
Right.
Yep.
So I have the green base splattered. Yeah, definitely doesn't have as much yellow as yours. And then I have the green and then the yellow.
Okay, yeah, and that begs yet another question. I've never laid eyes on the clear version. I've never seen one in the wild.
So that'd be yellow, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool too. I love those.
Yeah, I do
Yeah.
too.
So those are some recent acquisitions for me. Who's up next?
Very cool.
I can go.
All right.
I'm always excited. So I think the last time, one of the last episodes, Joe sort of inspired me. So you have this, right? The creatures from Taiwan.
Yes. Yes,
So
yes.
it has the hype sticker on there.
I don't know if mine has the hype.
And I think there are 2 different ones. There's a red one and there's a green one.
Hang on.
This is the red one and have the lyric sheet.
Incredible.
And that's the label there.
Don't believe the hype.
You read.
That is so cool.
Yeah.
What does it say? Creatures
That's
of
awesome. So I went on the hunt for that one, and that was on the Discogs want list for quite some time too. And from the same seller, he offered, which I had seen this and always wanted, is Unmasked from Taiwan.
Oh my god! Look at the green in
I
it.
love it. Yes, exactly. That cool
Green and red. Weird.
green and red.
Hang on, I want to see
Here, let me pull out the.
That is bizarre.
Yeah, and kind of that, like that alive too.
Oh yeah, I have seen that
Sure.
before. That's
That's
crazy.
Yeah, that's the cover, and then the label's that red.
Yep.
Yeah. So anyway, yeah, those are my 2.
Yeah. So John, can you hold your creatures up?
Let's see. Yeah.
So the back, can you show the back?
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I'm gonna bother you to take it out of the.
Yeah.
So that's
Right.
same as yours, yeah.
Yeah.
So mine does not have a hype. Is yours in shrink with a hype? Or
Yes,
is the
it
hype...
has like a. No, it's kind of like this plastic bag.
Oh,
A little bit
interesting.
heavier than shrink, and it was partially sealed. I debated about opening it, but I wanted to see if it had the lyric sheet, so I opened it.
Yeah, I think so too. So yeah, there's my lyric sheet, and then I'm assuming the label
Right.
is that as well, right? Yeah.
Incredible, guys.
Yeah.
Taiwan, right?
Taiwan.
Super cool.
I didn't even know those came with the hype, and that's one of the things that was the impetus for this whole show was just, we were talking about, between John, Humphrey, myself, Jason, many of the other collectors, John 5, of course, there are still things that we're seeing out in the, just out there that we've never seen before. And there aren't people who are scouring the internet, I would assume, more than us for these things.
Sure.
And when we haven't seen them, how, and that doesn't mean that we're better collectors than anybody else. I'm just saying that we have our eyes peeled the most, I would assume, to those things.
Yeah.
And for us to have not seen them, it's just got to be exceedingly rare, you would think anyway.
Yeah, there's definitely a bunch of guys. There's a bunch of great collectors in all these groups on Facebook, and a lot of guys have a lot of different things. And some of them only post in certain groups, and and all that stuff. So it's kind of hard to get everybody on the same page and stuff. But so if anybody's watching this that, you know, is one of those collectors and we bring up something or there's something you think about that we haven't thought about, please make a comment below this video that let's talk about it. Cause that's what we want to do. We want to open the dialogue about these rare records. So
absolutely.
Yeah. So
John, which hype sticker did you have?
The red one. I think there's a photo on Discogs that shows the green one. I think. Are you looking on Discogs?
I did, and there was a green one that I just bought.
are you serious?
Are you?
Did you hear that? Did you hear that ding?
That was your PayPal dropping $1,000. What was that?
It was it was $100. It was $160.
Nice.
Oh my gosh.
You're such a nice guy.
Thank you. I was like, there it is. But here's what's interesting. So the so you said that there was a red one as well?
Yeah,
that's the one he just showed.
That right. That one does not show up on Discogs at all.
Live on the air record collecting.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm just looking real quick.
Oh, hold on. Let me add to my collection. Give me a second, guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the one that you and I showed earlier, John, is up there with no hype. But there's also no mention of a lyric sheet in those.
Okay. Are you okay? There's two different listings. Now go to there's
I
the
see
one
it.
that shows
Yes,
the green, and then
I
there's
see
the
it.
red one is the second photo.
Yes. Okay. Yep.
see?
I'm there. Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, confusingly, right?
Yes. Yeah. Because the green hype has both in there.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
And for $160.
And we'll see. So anyway,
In the description, some copies have a red or green hype sticker on the cover, top right or left.
I wonder if there's
now. I'm gonna get it, and there won't be a hype sticker on it, and I'll sell it to Jason Hernan for half of what it's worth.
That's how we do things, and I'll never pay him and never get it.
That's how we roll.
That's how
right.
Joe and I roll.
The stuff
I've been trying to pay off
in my house.
Yeah, I've been trying to pay off like a $1,400 buy for I don't know,
10 years.
3 years now. Hadn't paid him 1 red cent.
Right. Yeah. And then I see him make a massive bid for something online. I'm
like,
yeah, I bid on that red box, knowing that I wouldn't get it. You know, the red Japanese box from '98.
oh yeah, that was up recently, wasn't it?
Yeah, it went for way more than I bid. So, but still.
Jason, your what's in the box?
Yeah, I don't really have a whole lot of stuff. I was, debating showing this. I can't even get the thing out now.
What's up, man? You're not buying Kiss vinyl all the time?
No. I can't even get this thing out of the cubby now. Bought some bootlegs. Got this box.
Oh yeah,
shiny. I know y'all don't buy bootlegs, but
I have some. That's
You
cool.
have
What
some?
show is that?
it's let's see. It's from the European tour, 1980.
Cool.
I forget half of what shows, but it's got all kinds of goodies in it. All kinds of counterfeity things. At least it's smaller than the original stuff. So we got Basil, 1980.
Yeah.
Their little jackets.
Are they picture discs?
They are.
Yeah.
Is this the same group who's done the other big box sets?
Oh, yeah.
Jason?
Yeah.
Same
There's
guys.
some really nice stuff.
Yeah. So they're all picture discs. So there's the Ace and Group Shot and all that stuff. Really, really cool stuff. I don't know why I don't save my money and buy, official vintage stuff, but these, I don't know, something about these things just suck me in.
Yeah.
You know,
I know the feeling.
yeah. And
They're
you know,
cool.
the main
They're-
reason, and
they're-
I've said it,
they're well
I've
done.
said a million times, the main reason why I buy these things is because of the effort that they put into the books.
Yeah, I mean yeah. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Looks
no
just
doubt.
like Joe Lalich designed it.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Great stuff. Beautiful stuff.
Yeah. So I've gotten a few bootlegs and stuff, and some of the new stuff that's come out. As far as vintage stuff, I just haven't been purchasing a whole lot of new stuff. I'm in vintage stuff, which I should be. So right now I don't have enough room in here. It's a nasty anyway. It's fucking looks like a bomb went off in here. I need to get it organized before I start buying more stuff anyway.
Oh,
So
I know the feeling.
yeah.
I know the
So
feeling too.
that'll be my what's in the box.
That's cool.
All right.
All right. So why don't we take this from number 20 on the list?
Okay.
From the vaunted Kiss My Wax LP.
Follow
vinyl.
along if you have your
Yeah. All
That's
along.
right. That's
It
right.
is volume 3,
volume 3.
page 79. Going backwards.
So greatest
Turn the
Kiss.
page when you hear the bell ring like this.
That's pretty good.
That's great. Yeah.
All
right. So we got number 20 on this list is Greatest Kiss from Kisteria. And of course, when this was put in this book, there was only the original issue. Even today, there's still only 1,000 copies of these.
Yeah.
However, we see these all the time. So that's an interesting discussion to have. 1,000 records isn't a lot of records, but it's 1,000 records between all of us diehards.
Right.
And there's probably 1,000 of us.
Yeah.
So we see that record circulating all the time.
We do.
So the question is, how rare is it?
How rare is it?
Right. Is it top 20 rare? I don't know. I will ask if the version with the insert, though, the insert's pretty rare.
Now, if you're breaking it down like that, yeah, that insert, I mean, I don't think we've seen many of those at all.
Right.
In people's collections. I would say probably less than, as far as people showing it, we probably hadn't seen more than, 20 people show it?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm sure there's more than that, but,
right.
And there's probably a lot of people that have never even opened that record.
I know. I was going to say, I have 2 sealed copies.
Right.
One for sure I'll never open, and the other one I just debate just to see if it has the insert. I know you can weigh it and do all that stuff, but I just,
But here's the thing for me. Even if you weigh it, if you have 2 and they both weigh the same, does it mean they both have it or neither of them have it?
I never understood that concept because vinyl records is not an exact science.
We've done it before,
Good
right?
point.
We've weighed it, and it's 180 gram can be
Right.
173,
That's right.
That's right.
182. It can
They're
be
not-
all over the place. Yeah.
Exactly. It's a
So-
great
Yeah.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so weighing it does nothing.
Yeah.
People have lucked up, weighed it, and said, "Oh, it's got to be in there," and opened it up, and it's in there. But I think
Yeah.
that's just a coincidence because that's not a science.
That's true. Yeah.
But just having this conversation, and we're gonna, we had it again about another rare record on this list. Just between the 3 of us here, John, you've got 2 copies of it. Joe's got 2 copies of it. I've got 1 copy of it. I know, I think my buddy Steve Allen may have 3 of them.
Right.
Just like everybody around us has it.
Yeah.
And wasn't there somebody who bought a metric ton of those boxes when they came out? Who was in the groups as well? I don't remember.
I don't remember.
I thought there was somebody who had like 5 or 6 of those
Oh,
boxes.
there is a guy that had 5 or 6 of those. So
Yeah.
and
I
you
don't
see
know.
them pop up on eBay all the time, and they're not pulling the money that they once were because of the reissues and stuff. But again, to John, your point before we were recording, you said there's still only 1,000 of them. So
Right.
I don't know how you quantify that. Is it rare? I guess it's rare. I guess anything at 1,000 copies is rare.
Right.
So unless I'm typing this in wrong,
Which I'm sure you are.
I'm sure I am too, since I got locked out of Popsic. Greatest Kiss shows as never having been sold on Discogs, which is surprising to me.
No chance. It can't be true. Really?
Well, oddly, it can't be listed by itself. People have tried to create just an entry for the album, the 2014 album. There's one, I think, for the test pressing, but it's just under Casteria, right? Is that where you're looking?
Well, no, I'm looking at, there is an actual Greatest Kiss, came out August 14th, 2014. And so maybe somebody was able to circumvent that.
Finally get that? Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. Because, I've seen people selling on Discogs where they're like, hey, here's a picture of the box, but it's not the box. It's double platinum or whatever piece of it that they're trying to sell because they can't get around it, right?
Right.
So in any event, I feel like if I were making a top 20 today, I don't feel like that would be on it.
I don't think so either.
I feel like it would probably just slightly fall outside of the...
Yeah, I think in what we'll talk about here, I think, we'll make a good argument for it. It probably will drop off.
But I think another good thing to talk about now at this point, you guys know way more about this stuff than I do because I don't collect it, but the new stuff that's been coming out in extremely limited quantities. So do you guys want to sort of talk about that? I think it was Dressed to Kill. And was there another one that also came out that was extremely limited?
Everything that they're doing now, or the majority of what they're doing now, they're generally putting out a limited 500-piece run picture disc most of the time.
Yeah.
So you've got the Alive 2 and
Rock and Roll Over.
Rock and Roll. No, the Rock and Roll
Over. More
of
those. Okay.
They did more of those. The double platinum.
Right.
Was that was the picture disc with the old Australian drawings, right?
Yeah. Well,
from the gatefold.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
the Love Gun picture disc, that was just 500, right?
I think the Love Gun was, well, anyway, there's several of them, and there's only 500 of them.
That's a great point. See, that's less than the Greatest Kiss already.
That's right. So, I mean, if you're just going on numbers alone, you've got 5, 6, 7 albums there that have come out in the last 2 years that bumped Greatest Kiss off the list.
Yeah, agreed.
So, and you can still find those readily. I don't know about readily, but you can still find those for pretty expensive prices, though. But on eBay, you can still get them.
Yeah.
So, I guess it's just the fact that when something is 40 years old and they only made 300 of them, like say the Icelandic creatures, which we will get to. Those
in Brazil or someplace that's known for having, low quality, manufacture of sleeves, and then the humidity and all the other, things that sort of...
They've had 40 years to disappear.
Right.
And now we've got all these 500 and 300 piece titles, like the Dressed to Kill, the red Dressed to Kill, 300 piece title that, they just came out, and we're on the internet, and we have these groups, and again, we're all friends,
and people are buying to flip,
right?
Yes. I was about to say, I think like Alive 2 and everything you're seeing so much of right now, that's a lot of people buying 2, flipping 1. Those will finally, I think they'll sell off, and I think they'll slowly disappear. And I think
I think it'll be a different story. That's a great point, John. I think it'll be a different story in 6, 7, 8 years where you're just not gonna see them anymore.
Right.
So so here's an interesting point. So that the red vinyl 45th anniversary, the last one that sold was on January 16th, 2023, and that went for $519, but best offer accepted.
Dressed to Kill.
Dressed to Kill.
Okay.
So now you talk about, there's 500 of those, right?
300.
So 300, there's 300 of those, but Best of Kiss is still garnering at least $500. The 2014 version of that is still garnering about $500 when we sell it, right?
Say that again. Are you talking about Greatest Kiss?
sorry. Yes. What did I
You
say?
said best of Kiss. That's a whole different animal.
Yeah. I meant greatest. Yeah. Right. I meant greatest Kiss. So there's more of those, but it's fetching the same dollar amount as the one that there's a third of. So right there, that sort of goes to talk about that. There's also a supply and there's a demand issue when we talk about rarity and scarcity. They're not, they can be mutually exclusive.
Now, that being said, you're only looking at eBay there. We have lots and lots and lots of sales in the groups.
Right.
And I know that Dress to Kill, that red Dress to Kill has, been in the groups and sold for $700. I saw a guy list it for $750 and it sold.
Right. Is that recently,
probably,
or is that when it first came?
A couple months ago.
As we know, around Christmas, right, the 12 days of Christmas or whatever they did, they had to sell. And as Jason brought to my attention, I guess the damaged returns of the 300, original 300 pressed, were then, given a new cover and then, resold. A lot of people snapped them up. Those guys are flipping them. And I think you're seeing the price. It's sort of like Greatest Kiss right now. The price is a little lower than it was, say, 3 or 4 months ago.
Right.
I think those will dissipate. If Jason's right, and still only 300.
Yep.
I think it will easily return to its $700-800 thing.
Yeah, John, and just I'm sure people are going to ask in the comments about this. John and I were discussing this before we started recording. He was under the impression that they pressed more, but that went up on the website and was sold so fast it would make no sense for them to go back to a record manufacturer that Joe and I have a ton of experience in and only press 100 more records or even 300 more records. If you've got a record that is in demand and you've got it up on the press because it takes you 6 months minimum to get there, you're going to press 1,000 or 1,500 or something like that.
Right.
Those were gone so fast. They simply got new jackets because Dress to Kill is still in print, and as far as I know, that the only difference in the jacket from the 2014 is the sticker that's
the hype sticker. And then even now these repackaged ones have yet a different. Oh yes, and then
they put a barcode sticker on the bottom of it. This is a 2014 jacket, so they can get 2014 jackets. So we know from that experience that there were a ton of damaged records that got returned, and they were just sitting on those. All of that little 12 days of Christmas when the vinyl hit, those were all small quantities that I think that they had laying around the warehouse.
Right.
And threw them up, and they were all gone instantly. So I think this is still the same 300 with new jackets. They didn't have those 45th anniversary stickers anymore, so they put the generic gold colored vinyl stickers on there. And that's what you're seeing on eBay, and it's kind of flooded a little bit and brought the price down. But once those sell through and you're not seeing them as much anymore, I think they'll go back up.
Yeah, I do too.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's funny because even with, that version, you would think people would want the original silver sticker rather than the gold sticker, because it's not that it's a repress, but you kind of look at it as a second pressing sort of.
Well, it is, but you can also say there are even less of those.
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Although there's more of them on sale, so it's
that's right. So.
And they're all seeming to go for about $400.
Right.
So. Yeah, all those things don't necessarily go hand in hand, do they? The rarity and the price and the supply, all that.
Supply and demand. Yeah.
All right, so number 19 on the list is the red box, the originals 1974 to 1979, which I think Mr. Humphrey will now show. Nicely done. Yep. So that one's tough for sure.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see it maybe what do we think? Maybe a couple of times a year you'll see it come up.
I just bid on one, and I think the thing went for, what did it go for? 3,000?
I don't think it was quite that much. 25 or 2,800, something like that.
25 or 28 or something like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna look here and see.
There was a story that who knows the validity of it, but possibly that there were only about 250 of those made. Not
Mhm.
100% sure. I think the run of the black was 2,500, and that they did 10% in a red box or something. That's the story I heard.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
Yeah. So if that's true, we're looking at another 250 to 350 piece box from Japan from 1998 that we see, like you said, Joe, once or twice a year maximum.
Yeah. And yet, with that few available, you still do see them probably at least once a year, right? There's one that typically pops up once a year.
Right.
That being said, on Discogs, just going by Discogs, there's never been one sold in Discogs.
Interesting.
Yeah, and I've had it in my want list for 3 years.
Maybe it's because people just don't buy from Discogs, except you two. I don't get it. I don't get it. We see them come up on eBay. We see them come up in the groups, but never sold on Discogs. That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, it does.
Now, I've got Popsick up. I can see it. The most expensive one, it was an unopened one, sold in 21 for $6,000.
Wow.
And I was looking
wow.
Yeah, isn't that crazy? In the year sold. That was December 22nd of 21. Then one without the sleeve and OB sold March 13th of that year for $2,100.
Without the sleeve and OB.
Without sleeve and OB, just the box. So yeah, that's the highest price. And I was looking to see, for whatever reason, the most recent one isn't there yet. Isn't showing here.
Can you see how many there are sold?
Yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's 6 here, spanning the years 2008, 9, 15, and 2 and 21.
That's not a lot.
So the last one
that's sure.
Go ahead, John. Sorry.
No, I'm sorry. I was just saying, yeah, there's some gap years for sure.
So looking at eBay sold, there was one in February 25th, 2023.
That's the one I bid on.
That went for $2,805.
That's it. Yep.
And there was one that sold on February 21st of 2023 that was up for $6,000, but they accepted best offer.
What do you think? 5? 45?
4,500, $5,000, somewhere in there. So yeah.
So two in this year already, right?
Yeah, almost back to back.
Almost
21st and 25th. Yep.
Interesting.
So there's your two. There's your 2 for the year. Everybody, stop looking.
That's your quota.
Yeah.
That's right. Joe needs to buy it. So.
That's right. I'm interestingly enough, I'm not after this one as heavily as I was before.
Right. So where do we think that puts this? I mean, is it certainly? It's at number 19 right now. Is it certainly, as we look at this list, higher than some of these that are above it?
Yes, but I think some of those are going to go away. So I sort of feel like if I were to guess, that this would be probably right about where it is, or maybe even off the list.
This off the list?
Maybe, yeah.
In rarity?
20, I think it still may be in the 20.
You think it's still in the 20?
Yeah,
because I do.
Yeah, because we might talk about some of the others.
Well, but we also have to fill in with some other things that we know of that we found in the intervening years that would bump some of these out as well. Yeah. So, well, let's just keep going down the list. But
how about we move it to 20? We'll drop.
Yeah, well, yeah, that's what I was saying. If it were going to stay in the list, I think it's going to be toward the bottom. Definitely that.
I agree.
17,
Absolutely.
18, 19, 20.
All right.
So the next one is the Kiss Collection Brazil 6 LP box set.
Yeah.
John, Humphrey, do you have that available?
I don't, but I think Jason has one, don't you?
I do. Hold tight.
Do you have it, Joe?
I do. I have one upstairs. Yeah.
Yeah.
There it is.
Yep.
So
from Brazil.
I've owned 2 of these. And Joe has one.
John,
I've seen
Humphrey,
him. I'm just
do you
waiting.
Do you have one?
I don't, and it's not because I'm just picky on condition. I've seen them.
Right.
I'm pretty picky on condition, and so I've just not found the one I've wanted.
Yeah, John, it's funny you say that, John, because I upgraded to get this one because I thought it was in, it was in much better shape than my other one, which was falling apart. And when I got it, I noticed the damn thing was taped together with electrical tape. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
So, you can see right there on the
Right.
on the logo, there's tape. So they're hard to get in good condition, but that right there is electrical tape holding it together.
Wow.
So there's somebody named Spaceman's Oddities who very well may be watching at the moment, who would be happy to sell you his VG Plus copy for $1,500.
No thanks. I never paid more than $500 for the two that I had.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough nowadays. I think this one has really become a lot tougher than it was even 4 or 5 years ago.
This is one I would have bumped off the list personally.
Yeah, to me, Joe, I feel this one. I think the Japan Red Box is rarer than this.
Way rarer than this.
I'm not arguing its rarity. I'm arguing about its price now. If
you're going to find
I'm only talking price.
Okay,
that's anything now, though.
That being said, one sold in 2022 for $526. That was VG plus VG. So, you
see any on PopPsych?
I can't get in there. I've been blocked out.
John.
Oh, yeah. Let me do it there. I'm sorry. I was looking at one on. Did you mention the one on eBay that sold? It was from Australia for $320.
No, wow, that's great. Yeah. $400 shipping.
And it's $25. And that was February 18th.
This year. What kind of shape?
The box didn't look bad. I'll click on it here. Let's see.
It looks all right.
You found it? Yeah.
Yeah, it's a little worse for wear, but it looks okay.
Okay, I'm going to go to PopPsych here.
I think the thing with that too is the inserts and the certificate and stuff like that. That's that'll make it more collectible as well because there were a couple
of when it complete.
Yeah.
So I find 3 on PopPsych. 2006, and then 23. That one, and then 2014. So I guess fewer than the red box as far as PopPsych goes. The originals box. So. Which is weird. I feel like I see this one.
Well, but again, if somebody is hard pressed and they're getting rid of their collection, that red box is going to be the first thing you fire out of your collection because it's worth a whole bunch of money.
Right.
So this one is a little bit less, right? It looks like it's anywhere between maybe 500 and 1,000. Depending on
condition. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I guess we could say. This could either bump off or again stay way at the bottom of the list.
Right.
I think.
Right.
Yeah.
So number 17 on the list is one that for me I don't think ever should have been on this list, but that's just me. It was the Creatures of the Night prototype picture disc from 1995. Now I feel like putting test pressings,
acetates,
acetate, all that kind of stuff, and to me this falls into a one of a kind rarity kind of a thing. I wouldn't have personally put this on the list ever. I think it's an interesting piece, and a KISS collector is certainly going to want it, but I wouldn't have had it on the list.
It's not something everybody can collect.
Exactly. Goal of this list is something everyone could eventually find, and I agree. This falls under the purview of test pressing or one of a kind piece. I agree.
Right. I agree.
Yeah.
Both of you.
Or the Firehouse Bell.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, so we will just scratch that one off the list if we were remaking our list. So the next one, number 16, was 4 individual albums from KISS promo box set from England. Now I have to plead some ignorance on this one. I've never seen it. I don't know what it is. I don't even know if there's a listing for it on Discogs. John Humphrey, do you have any intelligence on this one?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't know anything about it other than, probably just the discussion when these books came out or were being put together.
Right.
Yeah, it doesn't even come up on Discogs. I don't know. This one's problematic for me. Obviously not saying it doesn't exist, but I've never seen it in this incarnation anyway.
Yeah, I mean, it obviously definitely exists.
Sure.
I don't think Tom would have put something in the book that he, hadn't at least either laid his eyes on or had someone send him a photo that he trusted.
Right.
Sure.
So, I'm sure somebody like Olav Kinn or, the crazy guy, Valentine Epic or whatever, I'm sure those guys probably have this, but
Yep.
I don't know anybody that does personally.
Yep. Never seen it. Don't know what the interior contents look like. Don't know anything about it.
Yep. Don't know how many.
So if anybody has any knowledge on this beyond ours, which is almost nothing.
Yep.
Just comment down below or in the groups and let us see it.
So that bears the discussion. None of us who are avid Kiss vinyl collectors know a dick about that. Does that bump it way up here ahead of this stuff that we either have in our collections or have seen many times?
I mean, that's a good question. I think it would definitely be rarer if that's the case, right?
Yeah.
It's truly that rare and it's a legit item. I think it definitely moves up.
I mean, well, think about it. We know how many people we know that own Best of Kiss, which is number 1 on this list.
Right.
Joe owns it.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. Yeah, exactly.
John just 5. No, 5 didn't buy it, did he? Or
Yeah,
did he?
he's got
5
one.
5
Yeah.
has it.
Yeah.
We know at least. I think Per Strid had it.
Yeah.
At one point in time, he even had the cassette of it. So,
right.
But you said he had it at one point in time. See, that was one thing that we talked about off camera, right?
Mm-hmm.
We're all such Kiss fanatics that we go, oh, we've seen it, we know what that is, but we might only know, let's say, maximum 7 people who we can verify have the thing.
Absolutely.
Right?
But
it's just that we know it, we've seen it, and it has come up.
But that's 7 copies. And how many
Right.
of this have we seen?
Right.
I know. I don't disagree.
So
I
does
also
that bump
don't
it to
think,
number 1.
Right. Well, I also don't think that if it came up for sale tomorrow, that it would be a $6,000 or $7,000 piece.
Yeah, but is that the conversation we're having, or are we having a conversation about rarity?
Well, I think it all goes into it. To me, it all goes into it. Supply, demand, the scarcity of it. All of that.
Okay, so we're talking about most desirable, most collectible, not necessarily the rarest.
Yeah, I mean, because there could be something we've never seen out there that's the rarest, or
guarantee you there is.
Right.
All
right. What?
But I think it would bump up
for sure. Bump up.
I agree.
Yeah.
Okay.
So number 15, Kiss Killers red vinyl from Ecuador.
Yep. I think it's another one we discussed. None of us have ever seen it.
Yeah. I've got a black vinyl. I don't have the red.
Yep. Do any of us know anybody that has it?
I don't.
I do not. Yeah. I've had it in my want list. John Humphrey, have you had it in your want list?
Yeah. Let's see how long it's been.
For how
there.
long?
Go find it here.
Any of our South American friends?
Yeah.
Middle America, Latin America friends? Speak up if you've ever actually laid eyes on this.
More importantly, send them our way, please. We'd like to have enough copies to be able to bump this down to like 14 or 15.
That's right.
Right, John Humphrey, we'll take
I guess
one.
See, this is one I learned about with the book. So it's been, 5 years in my want list.
There you go.
Yeah. So the book, see, I wasn't even aware of this thing until
wasn't even on your radar.
Right.
Yeah. It's excellent. It's killer as hell. looks cool as hell. I would love to have
That's
that.
awesome.
And it's got the dynasty label.
I love that kind of stuff.
Do too. I love that kind of stuff.
Ecuador labels on things.
God, it's so cool. So, so there you go. I mean, right there with the UK box set and this Red Killers here. I mean, way up the list in my opinion.
Right.
So
I think that moves up for sure.
It moves up, yeah. So number 14, we've got the Elder with the lyric sheet. What's everyone think about that?
It's pretty rare. I've got one. Sorry, I was looking on Popsic, Joe, and then the red vinyl Kiss Killers sold for $346 in 2008. That's the only one on Popsic.
That's like $10,000 right now. Because Kiss vinyl wasn't selling for anything back then.
I know, 2008, right? Exactly.
That's very expensive for 2008.
Yeah, right. But interesting. I've not even seen one for, so that's cool. 2008 though.
2008. Fascinating.
Sorry about that. Okay, then Elder. Yeah.
Elder with the lyric sheet. So Humphrey has it.
I've never seen one come up for sale.
5 bought it when he started getting it into vinyl. I think he got it by accident. I don't think he bought it on purpose. I think he bought it in a lot of records and it was in there.
Yeah, same thing here. It was in a radio station guy had brought in a collection locally here in Oklahoma City. A lot of promos, and this was in there. I was like, holy cow. Yeah,
when they found out how poorly it was selling, they cut the lyric sheet out to save cost.
Exactly.
Well, no, because they threw the lyrics on a inner sleeve.
Yeah, which is it. So it had the lyric, and then it had this inner.
I think that's how they all come.
Right. The lyrics aren't on the clear. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
They have the clear. So there's the clear with nothing else, and then there's the clear with the lyric sheet, and then there's the white inner sleeve with the lyrics on the inner sleeve. So
exactly.
So it's rare.
I agree.
I never see it pop up. It never comes up accidentally, like you see the quote Straight Jacket Dynasty. Accidentally, somebody's selling a Dynasty, and you look at it, and it's it's the Straight Jacket.
Right.
Or the Alive 2, somebody selling Alive 2 error, and it never pops up like that. I never see it pop up like that because I look every one of them, every Elder that gets posted.
Me too.
I look, never see it.
Yeah.
So
I agree.
So it's rare.
Definitely.
Joe, you seeing anything?
I'm not. No, there's nothing on eBay. Discogs is problematic for one like this because,
of course,
it'll say some copies comes with the lyric sheet, and then you don't know if yours is coming with the lyric sheet.
Right. It's hard. Yeah, you have to kind of like see it in person.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen one come up. So for whatever,
I would say that's a strong contender in to stay on this list for sure.
Yeah.
Number 13, I think, is another strong contender. Unmasked red vinyl.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Forget it. I mean, I've never seen one.
Nope. I was gonna try.
Who has it?
Again, we're not the end all be all, but Lord knows we're looking.
Right.
I'm looking on eBay. It doesn't look like. Yeah, nothing. What do you have, John Humphrey? Anything on Popsic?
Yeah, the last one I see here is 2017 red vinyl for $1,700.
Wow,
really?
And that's the only one. The next one it was only listed red because it had yellow and green. It was a splatter vinyl, basically.
Right.
So they mislabeled it, sort of. But that's the only one I've seen here. It's 2017.
Well, at least there's proof that it sold.
Yeah.
So it is real.
Yeah, I was checking out the picture a little closer. Yeah, that's cool.
$1,700 in 2017.
Yeah, and it's even dated on the label. Somebody wrote just in pen or something. 3/14/1981.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Kind of cool. But I've never seen one.
I just wonder. It's bizarre. I wonder why the other ones. I mean, not most of the colored vinyl unmasks are fairly scarce anyway.
Yeah.
But you see all of the others much more than you see this. You know, we
Yeah,
don't
the
ever see
red
this. Why is that? You know,
I don't know, man. They must very few made.
I guess.
But that being said, we just talked about the clear version of it as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen that version of it. I've seen the green. What I would think would be more of a green base and more of a yellow base,
Right.
You know, and one might even wonder: is there really a difference, or was it the same batch and there just were more green pellets and more yellow pellets? So there's really only one version of that,
Right.
You know,
And
That's what I've thought all along.
Right.
Right.
Each one is just unique, like a fingerprint, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. But then the clear one would be different, right? That one would be different from those others. I wouldn't think that would be in that same run of the greens and yellows, right?
You have to have transparent pellets
Right.
at that point in time. So then that's definitely not in what you and I just showed. You know?
Right.
So
right.
in the book, under each album as it's itemized by country, is the the yellow based multi swirl, which we know, the green based, and then the clear base, which is I've seen that, but obviously it lists the green vinyl, red vinyl, yellow. The clear vinyl, though, is noted may be a unicorn, may not exist. So are you talking about an all clear unmasked, or are you talking about the clear?
You're talking about the clear base,
the clear splatter,
clear based. Yeah, okay.
Yeah,
you've seen that, John? You've seen
I have.
Clear? Okay.
I have seen the clear based one. I have seen with like green and red, but it was a clear based one. A friend of mine.
How often do? Sorry.
Go ahead. Say a friend of mine, collector I know, has it.
Got it.
Yeah.
And so, how often do you guys do we see the solid green or the solid yellow?
Fewer than a multicolored, for sure.
I've never seen the green or the yellow either. I mean, I've never seen. I've never. Have you seen those come up?
I have. I mean, it's maybe been a minute now. It seemed like. Hang on here.
Look at John Humphrey's records.
Too many.
You got to get a pry bar to get those records out of that shelf. Goodness gracious!
Oh, could you imagine if that thing started falling towards him?
Oh, it's made. It's anchored to the
it's
wall.
Anchored, yeah.
I was just gonna say, if that happens, I hope I'm in as well.
Sorry, I didn't know. I would have pulled the green and yellow.
No, that was just a question I just came up with.
I wanted to. Yeah, I'd be glad to show it.
Well, I mean, while you're looking, go ahead, Joe. Look, there's the yellow, Joe, and the green.
Yeah,
it's excellent.
Yeah, and then they both have that.
Yeah,
that code bar.
So Discogs is telling me that I do indeed have the green one in my collection.
Well, there you go.
So you own it.
Look, here's what
I'm guilty of that too. Thank God for just Discogs, at least for being able to.
That's right. Now I'm only telling you what what I've input into Discogs. Who knows if that's actually the truth? Now I have to go and see for myself. If I have it,
have you? Surely you bought something and then looked at your Discogs and realized you had already owned it.
Of course.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And by the way, if I do have the green one, we're gonna put it higher up on the list.
This green one's the rarest of all. It should fetch $4,000.
And I own it.
Only I own it. It's going up for sale tomorrow. That's
my multicolored, and it's sort of green, more
green. Yep. Is that the only one you have, or do you have any other bases?
That's the only one I have.
Okay. I was thinking I had two, but I only saw one. Let me look through here again.
Do you have just the black vinyl version?
I can't remember, John. I cannot remember.
It's kind of. Joe, do you have just the black vinyl version?
I don't actually. So I'm going to retract my original statement of never having seen the green one because apparently
you have.
That's great.
Hey, little self-deprecation never hurt anybody.
That's right. So, needless to say, this red vinyl we're definitely keeping on the list.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Up high.
And the green.
And the green.
And the green.
So, all right, next on the list is the infamous quote unquote straitjacket dynasty.
Right.
Now, I have opinions on this. What do y'all think?
Go for it. What's your opinions?
I think there's a boatload of them out there. By boatloads, I mean just like the Error Alive 2. I think there's several thousand of them. I think there was a run. All of those jackets were used.
Yeah.
And probably all of them went out. Or maybe they were stopped at some point in time. But we've just seen way too many of them for there to only be, 100 or something like that. Just by the law of, whatever that law is. I've,
the law of averages, right?
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say. The law of averages.
Yeah. Somebody's got to be smart around here, Jason.
Thank God. I owned a copy. I actually sold my copy to 5, actually. And
I need one. I'd like to find one.
But I've bid.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead with your question, and then I'll jump in.
I was just going to say that I've bid on at least 5 in the last couple of years that are just regular dynasty listings that you find, and they end up getting out of hand.
Right.
So, and I back off because I don't think the record is worth $1,000 or $1,500.
I agree. That's my point, I guess, or that's why I don't have one yet. I don't want to pay $1,500 for it. I think you're right. I think it's like the Alive 2 era.
Yeah, there's too much of a chance of walking into a used record store and finding one for $5.
Yeah, and I've done that with Alive 2 2 different times. I bought it for $8 or $10 and turned it over. I was lucky. I'm just gonna wait for a dynasty and hopefully the same thing will happen. I'm not gonna spend $1,500 for it.
Everybody knows that I talk to that ever wants to trade or buy stuff or anything like that. I don't ever. I mean, it's rare that I buy or I sell anything.
Yeah.
And even rare that I trade anything. I don't have a lot of doubles of things. I had a single, I only had one copy of that. And I was trying to put together some money to buy a mint condition first album promo poster. And 5 said he wanted it. And I said, I'm probably going to have a much better chance of finding a cheap dynasty than I am going to find a cheap
promo poster
or original first album promo poster.
Yeah.
So I sold it, and it helped me buy that, which I have hanging on the wall over here now. So
nice.
It's rare that I do that. But Joe, what were you gonna say?
I'm going to be the dissenting opinion here. I think this is a little bit rarer than people think, and I think it's probably going to balance out to be about a $700 record going forward. I just think I think it's rarer than. I was just going through just eBay this year so far, just sold listings for Dynasty, and only one has sold, and it went for $749.
Just regular Dynasty listings.
Yeah.
You looked at the photos on all of those.
Yeah, I just went through all of them, and that was the only one. That was the only one, and it went for $750. I kind of think that's where it is. Now, I'm not going to make any sort of determination on how many I think are out there. I have one. It is beat to hell. It is written the back of it's all written on, and it is beat up. But yeah, man, I don't know. I think this is a tougher one than we think. I'm not saying that maybe it should even be at number 12. I think we could probably bump it down a handful of spaces, or maybe even off the list. But I think this is a little bit tougher than people think. I think the chances of just walking into a record store and finding it would be pretty tough.
See, yeah, we'll just have to agree to disagree because
Yeah.
I've seen too many of them personally pop up on eBay, not listed as straight jacket covers or anything.
Right.
Well, this is just Kiss Dynasty vinyl.
Right. I know you said that.
Yeah. And that's wait, John, can you jump on Popsick and just do a Dynasty highest price and see what happens?
But see, that's the thing, Joe. Highest price, that's not always going to be the case. Yeah,
I understand. I understand.
But put in straight jacket or just Dynasty, just straight?
Just put in Dynasty, yeah. And just do highest price and see what happens.
Yeah. And I just got shut out.
Hold on. I'll do it. I've got a few more.
I guess I hit my 10.
All right.
Yeah.
Dynasty.
Boo.
Boo. All right. Sort by high to low.
And as far as price goes, you're probably, depending on condition, for a mint one, probably. I mean, because the Alive 2, a really nice one now, AeroPress, 650, 700, 800, nice one, complete. Maybe up to 1,000, certainly up to 1,000 if it's mint, yeah. No cut corner, that version without, all that kind of thing, or the credits, whatever.
And there was the glue issue, right? A lot of them stuck together.
Right, got damaged inside.
Yep.
Yeah.
So we've got January 27th, 2021, one sold for, not listed as a straight jacket, sold for $1,782.
2021.
Mm-hmm. April 8th, 2021, one listed as the straight jacket cover, sold for $1,280. April 18th, 2022, sealed, listed as straight jacket, $1,123. August 28th, 2021, listed as straight jacket, $1,067. November 18th, 2022, listed as straight jacket, sold for $1,000. January 22nd, 2023, listed as a straight jacket, sold for $800. December 15th, 2022, listed as the straight jacket, $749. February 24th, 2020, listed as non-airbrushed, sold for $731. December 9th, 2019, just listed as a regular Dynasty, $671.
So what is that? Are we at about 7 or 8 back to 2019 now? 6 or 7, something like that?
And then here's another one, not listed, sold for $565. Here's one listed as a straight jacket cover going back to 2018, sold for $516. Here's a shitty one listed as straight jacket, sold for $500 on February 18th, 2021. And there's 5 pages. So I'm telling you, I think this is.
There's 5 pages of that.
There's 5 pages of Dynasty, So we would have to look through each one and see, because there could be some that people didn't realize.
Right.
Were straight jacket.
But it does sort of feel like that would be. I mean, it feels like $700-800, kind of based on those prices, at least what you were just talking about. Kind of.
Oh, absolutely.
Like
If people realize it, it's absolutely that much. I just don't think. I think there are way more of them out there than. I mean, that's just way too many, and we know too many people that have it. We've seen them in the groups many times. It's just like the Alive 2. I just think that there was a run of them and they used all of them.
Right.
They're not going to, just for a little non-airbrushing, if they run off how many, I mean, about printing jackets, Joe, they're not going to just, for the most part, unless it's some egregious error, just throw them in the garbage. Casablanca was cheap. They used that shit.
Yeah.
So.
And I will say, in my case, this is a perfect example of this. This book put this record on the map for me. I wasn't aware of it until this book. And I feel like a lot of people learned about it really in the group. And so I feel for the most part in the last 5 years, I know some diehards have known, but did you guys know about it prior to 2017?
Prior to 2017? Yes, I knew about it prior to 2017, but not that long, a couple of years, because I know I've told this story before, but this record is why I started Kiss My Wax.
Yeah. Oh, really?
Yeah, I was in Vinyl Junkies when it was being run by John Hockley, and somebody posted it and was talking about it. And I said, well, that's interesting because the 8-track, and I posted a picture of the 8-track,
Right.
all of them are non-airbrushed as far as the record label versions.
Right.
And, John Hockley got pissed off that I posted something about 8-tracks and told me, and deleted it and told me, and messaged me and told me he was going to remove me from the group if I veered off discussion. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's right in the discussion.
Sure.
And I said, don't worry about it. And I left the group and started Kiss My Wax.
Wow.
That's the whole reason it exists.
And it's been smooth sailing, and everybody's gotten along ever since then, right?
That's right.
Perfect.
That's right.
It's been nothing but hand holding and Xanadu.
Yeah.
Yeah. I reached out to that. I remember that evening. I was so mad, and I reached out to Pablo down in Argentina, my good friend, who's admin websites and all kinds of stuff for me for many years. And I was like, do you want to go in and start, I'm going to start this group on vinyl? And he was like, yeah, I'll help you out. And then I reached out to Tom, and that's Tom and I had just gotten acquainted just prior to that, because I had posted in Kiss FAQ about hearing the test pressings being played for the singles box set. They were being pressed at my company. And I was in that room interviewing for people, and the guy was listening on headphones, and I could hear it because it's really quiet in those tests where they're listening to test pressings in those rooms. And I could hear She's So European playing on his turntable. And I was like, what the hell is he listening to? And I walked over there, and he had a stack of fucking test pressings. Wow. And I posted that in FAQ, and Tom reached out to me because I think that was the first Universal project he worked on. And he was like, oh, I've been holding my tongue. I knew this was coming. That's cool that you got to see that. And that's how he and I got acquainted. And so I reached out to him after Pablo, and we decided to start, Kiss My Wax. Wow. And then I think Andrew was probably next.
Right.
And it was Andrew that said, hey guys, why don't we do a podcast?
Right.
So, there you go. There's the history of wax. But
wow,
it was all from this damn record.
Yeah. Well, I need one.
Yeah,
I still need one, and I'm hoping to walk into a record store or something. I don't know. I just I agree with Joe. I agree. Yeah, the price is $700-800 for a nice one. I'm just kind of hoping maybe I'll get lucky. I don't know. It makes it kind of fun.
I agree.
Oh, sure. I mean, every Kiss collector goes in and looks for those couple misprints, right?
Yeah, and I've the Alive 2. Honestly, I've found 2 in the wild. So
that's right. So for me personally, and I guess Joe is a dissenting opinion, I would bump this way down the list.
I don't disagree. I would bump it way down the list as well. I just think that I don't think it's as ubiquitous as you guys might think. I think it's probably even harder maybe to find than the Alive 2 misprint, but
I agree with that.
That's just a gut feeling.
I agree with that.
So anyway, I think we would bump it down and maybe even off, but I think it would be at the very bottom of a list of 20 if we were. Right. But it's still a $700 price tag still speaks to some level of desirability.
Absolutely. It's definitely desirable. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But in rarity, it's definitely not as rare as, that red Unmasked, that red Killers. Absolutely not.
Right. Those would be.
I just think it was so new. The discovery was so new at the time, that it landed there in that spot because we're just figuring it out.
Right. Right.
But since then, lots and lots of copies of them have sold. So, all right, Icelandic Creatures.
Yeah.
Reportedly only 300 pressed in that country.
Joe, you have one, right?
I do. Yeah, really not a ton different about it except for maybe.
There's the Falcon thing, right?
Oh, the Falcon, yeah.
Yeah, the Falcon.
The Falcon label.
It should have a cool label on it too, I think. Doesn't it? Doesn't it say? I was thinking it said Falcon on it or something.
Is it a light blue or?
Yeah.
What's the lid?
Yeah, that's what it is. That's super cool.
Yeah.
And it says Falcon on the bottom in dark blue. Yeah. I only had the opportunity to buy this one time.
Yeah.
And I passed on it and let Tom buy it. And Tom bought it from the guy, and the guy shipped it, and it got caught. It got stuck in customs, and it disappeared.
Oh,
Never to see it again.
wow.
That was probably back in 2006, early 2016.
Wow. How long have you had yours, Joe? 4 or 5 years?
At least, yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So here's the question. Go ahead, Joe. Were you going to say something?
Yeah, I was just going to kind of go down the Discogs listings because I'm a little, we claim to think that there's only 300 of these, where I'm not sure where that number comes from.
Right.
But one sold as recently as June of 21 for $130 in VG condition.
Yeah, what a steal.
There was one in April of 2021 that the sleeve was in good condition for $105. It said it was taped and shelfware and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But here's one thing that that mine doesn't have, and it says that there's a lyric sheet that comes with it.
Oh.
No.
Now,
I've never heard of that.
Wow.
Yeah, I haven't either. This one says vinyl plays through without skipping. The sleeve has seen better days and has tape on the front plus shelfware. Lyric sheet included. Will provide pictures if requested. So then you have to go back to 2020, November of 2020. VG Plus went for $284. 2019 near mint VG Plus for $210. 2018 good and poor for $36, and 2018 for $188.95.
I feel for the person who bought that second to last one. Attention, only back of cover, no front.
You just get this.
I'm afraid that would be a hard pass for me, even if it was.
I might for $10 I might take it, but
I mean, how much was it? Was 18 or what was
36.84.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
But
well, you just get the LP and you hope for an upgraded cover, right? So
how did that happen? That damn thing been through hell. Only a pack, no front.
So I don't remember where that 300 number came from, but it came from somewhere. From either somebody in the country or one of the big vinyl guys over there, Olav or somebody like that.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like wasn't Lick It Up around the same amount, or was it like supposedly 500 or something?
I don't know. I have that as well.
I own 2 of them.
Yeah.
So
okay. Yeah,
that's it's just bizarre how difficult it is to find creatures and how quote fairly easy it is to find. When you're comparing the two, the Lick It Up.
Yeah. So you can go get Lick It Up right now, VG Plus for €70.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
70 pound.
So was there just the numbers that we've been told are they way off, and are there a couple of thousand Lick It Ups out there? I just don't know, because it seems like it's readily available.
Yeah, I mean, one just sold in February of 2020. Just sold 2/8/23, 10/15/22, 9/29/22. So yeah, I don't know. So what do we think about this Iceland? How are we, John? Have you ever seen a copy come up?
I've seen a copy come up, but I don't own one.
Same.
Okay.
I'm in the same position.
I will say it's rare though.
It's rare. I would say if I would keep it on the list. I would bump it down underneath this, these red vinyl.
Right. I think the Unmasked Red, obviously, and the Ecuador Killers is rare for sure. Yeah.
I would think so. Yeah.
And probably even the Elder with the lyric sheet, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah.
But I would definitely keep it on the list.
Yes. Yeah.
For sure. Personally,
Okay.
Me.
All right, number 10. We're getting into the meat of the
meat. Yep.
The meat of the list. So any color vinyl solo LPs, El Salvador.
Yep.
So we've got your red, your blue, your green, and your black.
Black. It's purple and light.
Is it translucent purple?
It's purple and light. It's really, really deep violet. seen pictures of people holding it up to windows, and you can definitely tell it's purple.
Right.
So
I've seen the ace where it's blue with like huge chunks of black.
Yeah,
like half and half, or
Interesting.
definitely poor, quality.
Absolutely.
So.
Yeah.
So there's an ace for sale right now. VG, no writing, no sticker, no stamp. Vinyl has black color in it. John Humphrey, to your
Oh,
point.
yeah.
Almost $2,700.
Yeah, I see that now. Yeah.
It looks like there's only been one sold on Discogs. That was in March of 21, and that sold for $1,500.
Yeah. That was ace.
That was ace.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, they're exceedingly rare, obviously.
Yes.
Peter, there's one for sale for $4,200 right now.
Yeah.
Paul, there is two for sale from $2,100. This is one to me that I would say, okay, I think it's exceedingly rare. I don't see the prices. Like that just seems like really, really high to me. I don't know how you guys feel. I mean, $4,000 for the Peter just seems nutty.
Yeah, I agree. And I think once it became apparent that these actually did exist a few years ago, to the more general KISS collecting public, not to the really, diehard guys and the guys in South America or whatever, but I think when it became apparent that these actually did exist, and the fact that it was the only country that ever pressed those solo albums on colored vinyl, their respective colors, I think that made people really, really, really want to have them because of the uniqueness of it.
Absolutely.
Obviously, those records sitting there, Joe, at that price aren't selling.
And they've been there. We all know they've been there forever.
They've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I'd say they probably, what do you think? Probably sit down in the $1,000, $1,200 range. Like if it came up for $1,000, some people would probably jump on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
But not the $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, and definitely not the $4,000 range.
Yeah. And I don't know if that's just an assumption that somebody's making. Peter's always rarer, so it's got to be more, but it just, you see them, which also begs the question, how rare can they be if you can go on Discogs right now and grab one, right? Because you can't do that for a lot of these things on the list.
Right.
It's gonna cost you, but there it is,
right.
But it's just one or two, right? We're not looking at multiples of these things, right? I think just like to your point, Joe, that you always make, when people realize that they're highly sought after, they go to their collections and pull those out to sell them.
Right.
So, somebody's been sitting on that stuff in Ecuador going, I can get $2,000 for this, I better put it up on Discogs,
Well, one just sold on February 5th on eBay for $228.
Oh my God.
Wow.
However, that being said, one side of the label is painted with Peter Criss's face on it.
Oh, I remember that one. Yes.
I remember seeing it too. It is very, very beat. However, I do have to say, even in that condition at $228, I might have been in on it had I seen it.
Right.
I wonder what kind of paint.
I mean, like literally somebody painted a picture of Peter Criss on the label.
But if it's, depending on what kind of paint it is, some paint will peel off. Like if it's
could you chip it off? Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, could you chip it off? Yeah, I don't know.
Jason, I will send you a photo of this.
Yeah, I'd love to see it.
So you can maybe throw it up for the people. It's interesting. This is the rare hand painted variant. So I think these they're probably around right where they should be, I think, unless a couple of these other things on my list that aren't in the list bump it down a little bit. So that's just my take. What do you guys think?
I agree. Yeah, I think it belongs in the top 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I think so.
Number 9, double platinum with the elder photos and the gatefold. John Humphrey, you have yours?
I do.
Columbia.
Jason, do you have this?
I don't. I've had the opportunity to purchase it a couple of times
in
the last year, and I didn't go through with it.
Yeah, so here they are.
See, there they are.
And then the cool,
So I think this alone right here, pushes that down from its number 9 slot on the list.
Right.
There are a lot of people that have this.
Yeah, I don't think this is nearly as rare now as it has been.
Right.
I think it would probably leave the top 10 list.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, for sure, leave the top 10.
What are your labels? I'm just curious if there's any variation on the labels. What do yours look like, Joe?
Yeah, I'm just looking to see. So one sold as recently as December 5th in 22. So about a year ago. The highest it's ever sold for on Discogs anyway is $160. John, here's the label.
Yeah, so it's nowhere near in the price range of, same here. Cool.
Yeah, I feel like this one could fall quite a bit.
Yeah, agreed.
Jason, do you have any PopSick information on it?
I can look it up. Give me a second.
So while Jason is doing that, and we've covered that one, so now we're going to go on to the Chilean releases of the third and fourth parts of Alive 2.
Right.
Sorry, the first and second parts of Alive 2. Yeah, you have, yes, those. So I've been looking for a long time, high and low, and I know that recently. How long have you had yours, John?
I could tell you. I want to say 3 or 4 years. I actually bought them pretty close together, different sellers, and they just kind of happened.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I have 3, and I think I've probably had mine about 6 months, maybe.
Yeah, because I saw that go off, and I was upset that you purchased it, Jason.
Thanks.
Yeah, and I think 5 has his within the last, if I'm not wrong, year or 2, right, Jason?
Yeah, I think so.
Doesn't he have both of them? Because I know at one point he and I were both lamenting the fact that we didn't have them, and then all of a sudden he had both of them quickly.
Yeah, I got it.
As happens with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say, John Humphrey?
I was going to say I added mine to Discogs 4 years ago, so I've had them for 4 years.
Okay. I think they're tough.
Yeah.
I'll look up really quick. I think I did this earlier, but I don't recall what it was.
We've got 3 of those Colombian double platinums on PopSick, and that's it.
No kidding.
Not
What
very
years?
expensive.
Mm-hmm.
December of 2022 for $309. March 19th of 2022 for $246. And then, hold on, I'm going to change it to Colombian. And then, oh yeah, March 25th, 2016 for $104.
So this is one of those ones where you go, okay, it feels like it's not all that easy to acquire. However, it doesn't also seem to be all that people don't seem to be all that motivated by it.
Right. It's a kind of a anomaly, isn't it?
Yeah, and it almost seems like a little bit of a novelty because it's got those photos in the gatefold.
Sure.
Right.
So I think it should come out of the top 10, but probably maybe be on the list somewhere.
Yeah, I agree.
Maybe way low down.
Yeah.
I agree. That's what I think.
Yeah.
So what do we think about these Chilean Alive 3 and Alive 4? Number one, I think if I were reconstructing a list these days, I would count these as one release.
I would too.
Yeah.
Just like the El Salvador solo records, and
Right.
put them in a group and
Right.
Yeah, what makes Alive 3 number 7 and Alive 4 number 8?
yeah,
Nothing.
I don't know.
Yeah.
So as far as Discogs goes, the last one sold was 2020 for $350.
Which one?
Alive 3.
Alive 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would say they go into one listing and they definitely stay in the top 10. I would think personally.
Yeah, I've been looking and I have not been able to find any. And I added them 4 years ago to my want list.
Wow. I missed it if you said it. Have any sold on Discogs? Or is that what you were
that's
looking
what
at?
I was just saying.
That's what you were looking at. Okay.
2020, March 21st of 2020, $350. Well, that was the last one that was sold. The highest it's ever gone for is $350.
Right, and I'm looking at the Alive the Part 4 version, and it last sold in 2018 for $306. That was the only copy sold on Discogs.
Yeah, so that's tough, right? I mean, that's 5 years on now.
That's tough.
Yeah.
Let's see. If
I'll tell you what, a real just kind of an honorable mention is Part 1 was really one of the hard. It was the last one I got. And funny, the first one I had of the whole series was the Part 2.
Yeah.
And had it years before 3 and 4, and then that was the last one to get for me.
So on Discogs right now, on eBay right now, you can get both of those together from one seller in one listing for $870 plus $20 shipping. So
on where?
On eBay.
On eBay, yeah.
You should buy that, Joe.
I have them.
That's right.
Alive. Parts 1 and 2 of Alive I have. I don't have parts 1 and 2 of Alive 2.
Sorry, I was looking at Pop Sick and I wasn't half paying attention to what you were saying.
Yeah. So those are, if anybody's interested, those are pretty good prices.
Yeah. Yeah, for both of those.
Do y'all want to hear some Pop Sick information on this?
Yes, let me chime in real quick. There was one Alive 4 from Chile sold on December 28th, just this past Christmas, for $220.
Oh,
which is heartbreaking. So,
and just for argument's sake, that Part 1 for Discogs, there's only one that is sold, and that was in 21. It was only $200, but only one is sold there.
Yeah, none have sold on eBay.
So that bears the question. I wonder why Tom valued these two so much higher than 1 and 2. If you're seeing that.
Yeah, I'm just kind of asking the question, are these are they more readily available, you think, than 3 and 4?
It doesn't feel like it, does it?
It
based
doesn't
on the
feel like
information.
And you know, my point being 1 and 2 are not even on the list anywhere.
Oh, I know.
You know?
Yeah.
So, I mean, is it that much? Are they Alive 2 that much rarer? I mean, I don't know.
So
I would think there would be more of those because they were much more popular by that point in time.
Right.
You would think. Alive Part 2 has never sold on Discogs.
Oh, wow.
I'm looking at Alive Part 1.
Well,
has never sold on Discogs.
There's quite a bit of activity on all 4 of them on eBay based on Popsick. But
right. Okay.
But it's over many years. So like we got Alive 3 and 4 together August 2015 for $650. Part 2.
That's a long time ago. Yeah, that's 8 years.
That's right. Part 2 2014 for $611. Part 2 2004. It goes way back. $510 in 2004. $510. 2014 on Part 2 $455. 2022 on Part 2 $420. Part 2 lots of Part 2s. 2021 $380. Here's all 4. Oh, you're gonna die. All 4 of them in one auction. June 15th 2011 $400.
2011. That's a long time
ago. A long time ago.
It sure is.
So I'll skip several Part 2s in there. That seems to be the most common.
That's what my experience. I had this. This was the first one I had. And it was a long gap between, and then I got 3 and 4, and this was the last one I found.
Right. So we got a Part 3 2004 for $352. Part 4 2004 $350. We got a 3 and 4 2015 $300. We've got a Part 3 2018 $281. Part 3 2017 $260. Part 4 2014 $255. And Part 3 2010 250, and that's one of 4 pages.
So
Yeah, there's a bunch.
Yeah, it just seems like over the last 2 or 3 years, these have gotten much, much, much tougher to find. But that being said, I just saw one on eBay that had come up. So
it's true.
I feel like they should probably move down the list a little bit, but not too far out of the top 10, I wouldn't think.
Right. I just got kicked out of Popsic. So
okay, so that's there goes the fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so number 6 on the list.
Oh boy.
One of the ones that I think we would all agree would be one of the holy grails.
I agree.
Which would be this bad boy.
Absolutely.
Right. Burns Media.
Yeah.
Which is an interview LP that they would play in radio. And I think, if I know a little bit of history of it, this is an early Burns Media one, correct?
Well, I think if I remember correctly, the story goes something that there's a 1 someplace on the label. I don't know if I can verify that here or not. Or there's a 1 someplace that people have made the assumption that this was the first release from Burns Media. And I think the way that this was marketed was it was the George Burns Company was actually sending out interviews to radio stations, correct?
Right. Correct.
As sort of a media sampler. So it says BMC 001.
Yeah.
Okay.
Could be the first one.
-A. And then if you look on A and side 1, side 2. Yeah, so 001A, it's side 1, and then there's BMC below it, 001. So I think some people have taken that to mean that this was the first release by the Burns Media Group, trying to sell these to radio stations where they could basically play an interview with a popular act of the day. And if you go on right now and you put in Burns Media on eBay, you will just get a metric ton of
Kansas.
Kansas,
yeah.
They made 10 million Kansas and 4 Kiss.
Who's the other? Linda Ronstadt, isn't that
Linda Ronstadt, I think, is the other one. And I swear to God, every time I type in Burns Media and they pop up, I'm like, oh my God, there it is, Kansas. Because they all look exactly like
exactly. This. Yeah, same cover.
So,
right.
Yeah. So it's a funny thing. What do you guys think?
Well, it's definitely rare.
Yes.
We do know a few people with them. We were talking about this before we started recording.
I have one. 5 has one.
Mm-hmm. And there are a few other guys in the community that have them for sure.
Yeah.
Right.
Let's see.
So,
does it stay at 6, or do you think it's rarer than that?
well, it's rarer than number 5.
Yes,
for sure.
Agreed.
I think it's rare. I think it's rarer than number 4 as well by a long shot.
Number 4.
Yep.
The number 3 we'll talk about.
Right.
Yeah, number 3 we'll talk about.
And we'll talk about number 2 and number 1.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I do have thoughts. So let's just keep it. Let's keep it around where it is, and then we'll hash it out.
Cool.
So the next one on our list is Lo Mayor de Kiss, the best of Kiss from Argentina.
Yeah.
Which all of us are about to.
Yeah, hold up.
I can't find it. Mine's back here somewhere. But I want to bring up the story where we were all with 5 on the screen, and all 4 of us had a copy of it.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So how rare can that be when 4 guys that do a podcast all have one of the number 5 rarest record in a list, right?
Right.
Can't be that rare.
Right.
You can buy one right now in Discogs for $894, and the last one sold was January 22nd of 2023.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is one of those records that can be had for the price. So let's just go through it real quick. 2023, $725. June of 2022, $631. 2021, June of 2021 is $842. January 2021, $811. So November of 2018, $526.
Okay.
So this feels like one that can be had for a price.
Right. And it's desirable. I mean, if
It
fans
is.
want it, it's just a cool cover. It's a cool compilation. It's a desirable piece.
Absolutely.
Yes.
But I do think maybe it drops down, though.
I think it definitely drops down.
Maybe even out of the top 10.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
think it drops out of the top 10 based on just some of the ones on the end of the list.
That being said, nothing on eBay has sold.
That's what I was looking to. Yeah.
Yeah.
I couldn't find anything on eBay. And we're all kicked out of Pop 6. So
I may be able to get back in. I'm back in. I turned my Wi-Fi off and cleared my cache from my phone. So I have a fresh batch.
Nice.
All right. So we have 21 sold.
Okay.
I'm going by. You want me to go highest to lowest, or do you want me to go by date?
Maybe go time. Yeah, maybe go by date since there's so many of
Newest.
those. Let's see what happens to price.
So we've got November 20th, 2022. Holy shit! Somebody made a counterfeit picture disc of it.
That's weird.
Sold for $285.
And it has Vinnie Vincent on the cover.
That's right.
Yeah.
So we have November 20th, 2022 for $340. There's a fucking counterfeit of it too. Blood red clear vinyl. Euro 2020 repress.
Wow.
I didn't know it had been counterfeited.
Wow.
So we had October 8th. So we go from November 20th, 2022 all the way down to October 8th, 2020.
So it had been 2 years, and
That's
a
right.
real copy hasn't sold yet, right?
That first one
the first one was real. Okay.
Yeah, $950 for that. Then we go all the way to March 24th, 2019. That sold for $652. Then we go. It's like one a year. October 31st, 2018, $597. Here's one that sold on. This may be the same one. Maybe the buyer didn't come through. Yeah, October 28th. It looks like the same photo, $380. So must have deleted it and relisted it or something.
Right.
June 16th, 2016. So that's 2 years, $196. And then from 16 to August 30th, 2014, $350. And then November 1st, 2013 for $40.50. April 30th, 2013 for $299. Another 2013 for $163. Then down to February of 2012 for $183. January of 2012 for $405. And there's several more. I'm not going to go through every one of them, but
Sure.
But it looks like at most 1 to 2 a year on eBay.
So kind of in the same realm we think of that red box, sort of as far as availability.
Right.
So they can definitely be had.
Yeah.
And I would say it probably drops out of the top 10, would you think?
Oh,
I'd say
yeah.
it drops out of the top 10, but definitely stays in the top 20.
Yeah. Agreed.
All right. So we're going to move on to or did anybody have anything else to say about LeMayor?
No, good
Nope.
there.
All right, so move on to number 4. We've got Kiss Alive from France with one of the unique gatefold.
Yeah. Which I have one. You guys have one?
I do, yes. I don't have it readily available, but I do have one. Let's see here. So this one, you can go on Discogs right now and get it for 200 pound.
And make sure that everybody knows what we're looking at here, because there's a couple of different French ones with different inner gatefolds.
John Humphrey, do you have that available? If not, I can run and grab it.
Yes, I've got it.
Okay. So the big difference on this one is going to be the interior photos,
Right.
which John will show.
It's the photos from individual photos from the booklet.
Right.
Right. Super cool.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Super cool. Because I think there's another one from France that has like 6 records in it or something like that. It has like Rock and Roll Over and Destroyer in it or something like that.
Yeah, there's a UK one that's like,
Yeah.
There's some different
There's
ones.
so many alive pressings.
Yeah,
Holy
so
moly.
many. It's a cool label on this one too.
Yep. There's the red label France. There's
Sure.
all kinds of stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's the one with the 5 records. Debut, Hotter Than Hell, Dress to Kill, Destroyer, and Rock and Roll Over.
Correct.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So I think this one should plummet way down the list.
Yeah, I would agree.
I mean, if you can go in Discogs right now and grab one for $200, there's a couple of different listings.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, is this one rarer than, say, the Alive from Peru with the flames, the inside, the other?
Oh
shot?
yeah.
Do you know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about.
Or
The whole gatefold is the
Mexican misprint Alive with the Alive 2 photo in the gatefold.
Yeah.
Are any of those like rarer than that one? Maybe.
Yeah. Well, I think that Mexican one you see quite a bit.
Yeah, I guess so.
I think there was quite a run on that one. It's interesting though. I wish we had some historical data on from some of these countries, because I mean, what kind of pressings are we talking about back then? Yeah, that's great. I love that.
So cool. Yeah.
And I think there's a blue tinted photo version and then this color version. I think there's 2 of them from Peru.
Right.
The back's black and white. Anyway.
Yep.
Yeah.
But I mean, how many were pressed of that in 1976? Was it, 500? Was it 5,000? Was it 30,000? What?
Right. I liked it. Yeah. What their numbers were.
Yeah. I guess a lot of our numbers in our head now are so modern vinyl centric.
Yeah.
Because we know that almost nobody presses more than 5,000 copies of any record.
Right.
It doesn't matter who you are unless you're Taylor Swift or Adele.
Right.
So I just can't wrap my head around what kind of numbers was France pressing of a Kiss record who no one had ever really heard of in 1976 over there.
True. Yeah.
Yeah, hard to know.
I don't know.
But having said that, I think it should fall way off.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Way down, if not off the list.
Way down.
Because I'm gonna offer up 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe even 6 or 7 records that I think we should put on the list. Maybe even 8. Maybe even 8 records at least.
Okay.
Number 3.
Number 3. I've never seen it. I would assume it's exceedingly rare. John, have you ever seen it come up for sale, or Jason?
I've not seen it for sale. I want to say I've seen someone may have had it, but no, I have not had an opportunity to.
No, I've never seen it for sale.
And does
we never
even
even said what it was.
Oh yeah, double platinum Taiwan.
Yeah, it is a counterfeit. It's a pirated record.
And I hear this is my live too. This is not the same thing, but
that's right.
But yeah.
So yeah. Never sold on Discogs. Yeah. I don't really know what to say about it other than you never see it.
Yeah, I mean, what other counterfeits though are out there? Of the era, the pirated stuff from the countries that didn't recognize.
Well, that's what I was going to bring up. So if we want to start talking about other records that might go on the list, I think there are some from Korea that we might want to talk about.
Right.
There's that crazy. Hey, just bear with me for a second. There is the Dynasty from Korea that has the Kiss logo in place of Paul's
face. Yeah.
Yep.
In place of Paul's face. I think that's extremely rare.
I agree.
There's a Hotter Than Hell from Korea that's up for sale right now on eBay for $1,000. That has the back cover. I don't know if I may
all the stuff's missing from it.
No, yes, it's all missing, but it's the conglomerate face of the makeup.
But everything around it is gone, right?
And it's yellow. Let me see if
I think I have it.
Do
you think you have that?
I think I do as well.
Well, then, I think I have it. Ladies and gentlemen, while they are looking for their records, if you've made it this far into this long podcast, please post your exceedingly rare Kiss vinyl photos below. You won't be able to do that on YouTube, but you can certainly do it in Kiss My Wax or Kiss My Collectibles, where you will also see a link to this episode.
Oh, I thought I had it. Yeah, okay. I realize Italy did the same thing as far as, it's all clear.
Yeah.
You went hard too. I want to steal your thunder. We'll do it together.
No. Ready?
Yeah.
Do it. So yeah, there it is.
Yeah,
John,
looks cool.
Do you have the?
What I first pulled was this from Italy, which is also blank, and then I was like, "Ah, oh, damn!"
Oh yeah,
it's the wrong one.
Yeah. Do you have the insert in yours, John? In your South Korea copy?
Yeah.
Damn it! I wish I had something you didn't have.
You do.
You know me. I'm pretty anal. I like complete on this stuff, and
yeah.
You've got Burns Media.
But I don't have Burns Media.
I'm pretty shocked you don't have that, John. I thought for sure you would have that.
No,
I thought you did have. I thought you had it too. It just means you're not a real fan.
That's right.
I'm just.
So check this out, you guys. This is one. Now, I guess we could debate the validity of this, but here is that same version, but a promo.
Right. Oh my God, you have two?
You got me there. I do have a Korean promo with that same sticker, not a Hotter Than Hell, but another pressing.
Yeah. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well, see, okay, so the point being, what other counterfeit pirated records from the day from those countries that didn't recognize international copyright, what other records are out there? I mean, there's a ton of them. Crap.
I mean, because what they did is they took some of the plates out. So you would have one that was the blue and one that looked magenta and one that was green and then one that had different designs on the cover. I mean, there's just so many of them that they almost beg to be more rare than others because it just feels like they were swapping them out so fast that they couldn't have possibly been making that many of them.
I mean, I know it's not as rare because you do see a few more of them, but like one of the most sought after, I think, is that Turkish elder.
Right.
Yes, but that's easy to find now, it seems like. Easy to find. Like you could just go and grab that almost any time now.
Can you?
I've had two. Yep.
To the point where it seems like there might even be a new version.
Oh, there is. Yeah, the
bootleg.
Counterfeit has been counterfeited. So.
Yeah, the counterfeit's been counterfeited.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's been picture discs made of it and all kinds of stuff. But
some of them look so nice, so nice now.
That's right.
That's got to be new.
Right.
Oh, I'm a sucker too for that kind of.
Oh yeah,
stuff.
I got that too.
Yeah.
Support the counterfeiters, John. All right. So anyway, where do we think this particular counterfeit belongs on our list?
Well, for argument's sake, I mean, of all these we just talked about, and the Korean one we just showed, I have not held in my hand or seen that double platinum counterfeit.
I agree.
But for some reason, just as a mental check, it's not like really highly coveted for me. It's not like something I really like, man. I mean, I don't know. That doesn't make any difference, but
No, I think it does make a difference. I think
it's not in my top 10 of like dream to own.
Right.
You know what I mean?
And I think it's also skewed again because we're such Kiss enthusiasts that for us to sit around and go, oh, because John and I have it, maybe there's 8 other copies in the community, or maybe there's 50. I mean, it's like it just begs the question again. I know I've said that a lot in this episode to the point where I'm making myself sick of it, but you see a promo copy of this, a promo sticker copy of this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, how many of those could there have been? Or what was that? Will we ever see another copy of it?
Right.
That's a good question.
I don't know.
I'd rather go after that than this double platinum personally.
Yeah.
I think that comes down, John, to personal preference of what you're looking at there.
Absolutely.
Because I feel exactly the same way. I would much rather have that Hotter Than Hell because it's so unique.
Right.
Yeah. And I just don't and I just don't know how much rarer this is than a lot of that other stuff.
Right.
Just because I don't know.
Right.
This is a weird one for me. I think I would still put it in the top 10, but I would probably bump it down.
Yeah, I'd put it in the
10,
top
just
10,
because it seems like a weird outlier to me. It's unofficial and it goes into a big pile of unofficial stuff.
Yeah.
And I think there's a ton of it's rare. I don't know. That's just my take.
Right. I agree with you.
All right, number 2.
The 2 big ones.
The 2 biggies.
The monsters.
Theoretically, the 2 biggies.
No monster isn't on this list, John.
I got that. I see what you did there.
Mr. Funny Man.
That's right. Hey, look, they're 2 different colors too. I think Joe's is fake.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
I was downstairs screen printing this before the show.
Counterfeit.
So we've got the white double platinum from Australia.
Yeah.
And Jason, your story stands the test of time of having people look for this for you in Australia because you have customers in Australia who are record stores, and they say that in the 14 years that you've been looking for this or whatever it is, they've had 2.
Yep. Which is odd because you will also hear other Australians say, oh, that thing was everywhere back in the day. It was in like the discount bins or something like that.
Yeah, but did it get pulled?
Yeah, I don't
Who
know.
knows?
That's the question. Did it get pulled? So there's a lot of attention on this. So I feel it feels like we see it more.
Right.
But I don't
hold on to your short pants, everybody, because there's one available on Discogs right now for a whopping $3,125.
Yeah, you said
Joe
that.
just bought it.
Yeah.
No, he sent it to me he sent it to me a couple days ago, and I said, "Oh, that's a good price." And he said, "That's like $1,000 more than it's ever sold for." And I was like, "Oh, is it really?" Because in my head, I've got $3,000 or $4,000 on that record.
Here's the thing, though. So a VG version of this sold in April of last year for $2,500.
God.
Wow.
Before that, VG plus $2,600. That was November of 21. So you're talking about just about call it 8 months between. And then July of 21, VG plus $2,300. And somebody got very fortunate and bought one at $800 in July of 2021. It was VG.
Wow. I'm fairly certain that an Australian Phil Cass has 3 of them. 2 or 3 of them. Fairly certain. I've seen a photo.
Mm-hmm.
Long time ago. Unless he's gotten rid of them. So,
do we know of many other people in the community having this, Jason, that you know offhand?
A few people.
Yeah, a few.
Not a ton, but a few.
5 has one. Humphrey has one. I have one.
Right.
So we think that Phil.
I know Phil has 2 or 3. Yeah.
Yeah.
But he's Australian, so he could have had those for years,
Right.
I'm sure the big guys like Olav and them have it.
Right.
Yeah.
Is it still number 2?
Does it stay number 2 is the question.
Okay,
I don't think so.
I don't either.
Right.
Because I'm gonna offer up some whoppers here in a minute. That I think.
All right, let's get to number 1.
Yeah.
And we can start talking about our add-ins.
John, go ahead and show yours.
I wish. Smart ass.
It's the wrong John, asshole.
Yeah.
So the best of Kiss, number 1 from Japan.
Yeah.
It was completed.
We all know the story of this.
Yeah.
Mail order only. Fucking impossible to find. It was part of a series. They did several bands of them, from what I understand, or some bands, other bands, very similar. Best of. But you just can't, or back in the day when we first started talking about this. I remember the first time I saw it was on Kiss FAQ in the 90s. I saw a picture of it in the 90s. And I was like, what the fuck is that?
And I was always curious. I have this from Japan, that Casablanca Fair.
Right.
And the tracks on that, they're different order, right? They're not the same. Does it start with Shandy?
It does. Shandy, Shout It Out Loud, Beth, Detroit Rock City, I Was Made for Loving You, and side 1.
Okay, so it's different. It changes then.
Yeah, and then side 2 would be Talk to Me, Calling Dr. Love, Hard Luck Woman, Strutter 78, and Love Gun. All songs that I don't care for.
Was Made for Loving You.
Unbelievable.
What's amazing is it's all the same songs. No songs are different. They're just in a different order.
That is very interesting.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Yeah.
I never knew that. So
just cut that label apart, John. Make a fake cover and boom, you're done.
I'm on it, man.
I'm on it.
I'm done.
Wow. So what do we think?
Nothing on Discogs, nothing on eBay. Do you have any Popsick information on this, Jason?
Let me look. Kiss.
I think personally, for a multitude of reasons, this probably stays number 1 or very close to the top.
Oh, yeah.
We have September 23rd, 2020, $4,779. Holy shit. Holy shit. January 16th, 2013, $840.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was before it became.
That's right.
Yeah.
And that's it, just under Kiss Best of Japan. Let me type in Japanese.
Wow.
No, none under Japanese. So 2 in 10, 12 years.
Yeah.
So we know one of them sold on Yahoo Japan.
Right.
Yes, and what did that go for?
I don't remember, but it was a lot. Wasn't it like $8,000 or something like that?
I want to say something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah. John 5, he's had his about a year,
right?
I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I've had mine. Maybe he's a little bit longer. Maybe I've had mine about a year now.
Yeah.
And they were expensive. I
Yes.
mean, I paid up for it.
Yeah, I know what both of you paid for it. It was expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know that I'm pretty sure that Perstrid has one. And I'm pretty sure
shockingly there's a cassette of it that he has as well.
That's right.
Has had.
I don't know if he has it anymore. And then I'm pretty sure Olav Ken has it. I don't know about that Valentine Epic crazy dude. I don't know of anybody else outside of that in the community personally that has it. I'm sure there is, but I don't know of anybody else. So what 5 records? 1, 2, 3,
Yeah.
4, 5. 5 copies of it.
Yeah, and it came out in 82, I believe. Is
Yeah,
that right?
81 or 82. I think it was
81 or
82.
82. So you have to think Kiss was, nobody was interested in them in Japan at the time. Mail order only.
Yep.
Forget it. I mean, that's...
Yeah, I mean, what happens to the unsold stock? What happened to it? Did it get thrown, trashed?
Yeah.
Did it? Because I'm sure there was unsold stock.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can't
So that's our list. Well, not our list, but sort
Kind
of
of
you
list.
kind of understand where our thinking is now, where these records belong, whether they fall, they rise up, they drop off the list altogether. So let me add, and if you guys have any more, I'd love to hear them as well.
Sure.
So John Humphrey, I know you have one of these. It is the debut from Bolivia.
Yeah.
Bolivia.
Very tough, extremely tough. I've only seen one come up in a long time.
Oh, I love that. Looks like an old Elvis Presley record, doesn't it?
It's like
Yeah.
orange RCA label. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Kind of a blue
what
tint to the cover.
What I've come to understand about this too is that there's 2 versions of it.
Really?
There's
John's like, motherfucker.
Like, damn.
There's a second label variation, and if you go onto Discogs, it's actually up there now.
Wow.
So, and I can't quite recall what the difference was. But you'll see it when you go in. I mean, I don't have them side by side. So,
Okay.
So that's one that hasn't sold since 2021. And at the time, let me select all the boxes that are buses and show you the sales details. That one was the last one that sold was in 2021 for $700. And prior to that was 2020 for $310. So 2 and 3 years. Jason, do you have any other info on that?
Yeah, I'm looking
And
right now.
just for, interesting information, mine is actually the one with the last one that sold in 21. Those photo examples are the copy that I own.
Okay, good.
Because at the time, it was just the only copy there, and the guy had used it to make the photos. So I'm looking at the label 2 variation.
All right, I've got December 24th, 2015 for $163. It's tough to search for the debut album.
Sure.
We've got a July the 7th, 2014, so just a year difference there, and this one went for $456.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Yeah, all about who finds it and when, right?
And who's motivated to buy it. Yeah.
That's right. We got a November 29th, 2012 for $153.
So it goes way back.
Yeah. We have April 26, 2007 for $100. So we have 4 sold on eBay since 2007.
That's crazy.
That's not that's
crazy. So rare.
16 years. 4 sold on eBay in 16 years.
So I think if that record came up today, that's easily a $600 or $700 record.
Yeah.
And I think it should, if it's not in the top 10, it should be just on the outside of the top 10, I would think.
Right. I agree.
So the next one I'm going to throw out there is one that we've all just recently seen. John Humphrey, it seems like maybe you had some knowledge of this prior. Philippine solo records, unbelievably sealed with a little card in the front that said, and maybe Jason will get some photos and throw them in here. A little card that said, collect all 4 pieces. So the KISS logo was split up into 4 pieces.
Right.
If you collected these 4 pieces, so there was one card on the left that gave you the instructions. Then there's another card that was a sliver of the solo record, the logo.
Logo, yeah.
Like a little bit of one of the lightning bolt S's or whatever. you got all 4 of these together. You took them to the record store, you sent them in, and you got a patch and a poster and some other stuff.
Yeah.
I had never seen these before. 2 just came available on eBay. There was a unsealed Paul, that had, I think, a sliver of the logo, and there was a sealed Gene that has the card and a sliver of the logo.
Right.
I've never seen it. I can't believe that in the Philippines, after all this time, that there's these little tiny, they almost look like little pieces of newspaper or copy paper that have just been crudely printed on.
Right.
So to find those complete, goodness, I don't know, sealed. And the fact that we just saw them now, 6, 7, 8 years after these books come out. What is it? 6 years after the books come out.
Yeah.
And they're not documented in the book, as far as I recall.
Right.
The extras aren't documented.
Oh, really? Wow.
No, yeah, none of that information is in there.
Wow. Yeah, definitely. I'm looking at this Gene that just sold
to Joe.
That's the one you got?
That is the one that I got. Yeah.
Very cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think these are definitely for your consideration. Absolutely.
Now, I looked them up on Popsic when we first, when Joe sent them to me, and there were a few on there over the last few years. Not a ton, but there were a few of each member. So
I think the key there is going to be getting them with any piece or parts of those.
Right.
Because we could probably go out and buy Philippine solo records right now, I would assume.
Right.
But with those little card extra pieces.
Yeah, the complete sort of.
Yeah.
Right.
Would be exceedingly tough, I would think.
Yeah. I mean, right. That's like, again, that Greatest Kiss and the insert, it's that part package,
Yeah.
Yeah, that was one thing that we talked about before we started recording that we didn't touch on whenever, I don't think, when we started recording. We're talking about how there was only 1,000 of those, but everybody in our community seems to have one. But then if you split that off into, well, how many of those thousands have the insert?
Yeah.
And it's, and how many people have never opened those?
Right.
Can't remember. I don't think we discussed that on the actual recording, but it could be 200 of them or less.
Yeah.
What's even more interesting is that, so there's a Peter Philippines sealed up on eBay right now that doesn't have the little card.
Oh, interesting.
So at some point, did they stop putting them in there?
Right.
Also, sealed records from the Philippines sound bizarre to me, but what do I know from anything?
But we saw, the ones that we saw the photos of, that is old shrink. That's
it looks dirty and ripped and
And looking at this Peter, it's kind of older too. It doesn't.
You're looking at the eBay one as well.
Yeah. I mean, it looks pretty grungy and.
Yep.
But yeah, it doesn't have. Yeah. Because the Gene had the inserts, you can see them. They were under the shrink, not actually in the cover, but under the shrink.
Correct. Exactly. That's how we've been seeing them. Yeah.
Yeah.
And there was a Paul up there recently that was unsealed that had just a sliver of the logo. So if you go into eBay, Kiss Philippines sold, you'll see the Paul version of it with the little. Without like the sales card, but the little sliver of the logo.
Yeah.
Right.
So are we thinking those belong in the top 10, or do we think they belong in the top 20 down the list somewhere, or what are you thinking, Joe?
My gut would be they would be top 10. As again, I would put them in there as a group. Any of the Kiss Philippines, just like this El Salvador colored vinyl. Right. Any of the Kiss Philippines with the card and the Kiss portion of the Kiss logo, I feel like should be, if not in the top 10, just on the outside.
Right. Okay.
I don't know how you guys feel, but that's my gut instinct.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Okay. What else did you have you wanted to throw in, Joe?
The Elder from India.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you guys, there is a copy right now that is literally chewed by
Yep.
some animal right
that
around the.
that guy's been trying to sell that thing for years.
Oh yeah, yeah.
$1,200 for a copy that literally looks like somebody either took it and tore it around the arc of the right side of the record, or an animal chewed it off and hit vinyl and stopped. I've never seen another copy. I'm pretty confident in saying that there's never been one sold on Discogs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, but Kiss from India.
We should buy that and put it with the Icelandic creatures without the front cover.
Yeah, exactly.
Look at my record collection.
I started to make it a picture disc, and I said, fuck it.
Fuck it.
Yeah, so came out in 1981 in India.
Yeah. I was looking. Yeah, I have nothing is sold. It's not sold.
And I don't know, Jason, Popsick, does that give you any?
I doubt it. Let's see. Kiss India. I won't even put elder. I'll just. Oh, I've been locked out.
I've
done all I can do, guys.
But I would say it's rarer than we have thought.
I think that's I mean, it's probably rarer than everything, including Best of Kiss.
Than most everything, I'd say.
Yeah.
The only difference
in the book, it's listed as a 6, which is the rarest rating, but yet it's not in the top 20.
Right.
Yeah, I don't get that.
But I think it definitely belongs in there somewhere.
It belongs in the top 10, if not at number 1 or 2.
I think the only difference between I think one of the things that makes the Best of Kiss so rare is the fact that you had to mail order in for that thing.
Right.
Absolutely.
Right.
That's what sets it apart. Now, I don't know what the record scene was like in India in 1981. I don't know if there, was there a plethora of record stores you could just roll into? I have no idea what the scene would have looked like back then.
Right.
So quickly, Iranian solo Gene Simmons.
Yeah. Is that listed in the book, John?
I don't believe that's in the book.
You don't think it's in the book?
I could be wrong, though.
Yeah, it is.
It is.
In the
you
book,
are wrong, Joe.
He's got it rated as 5.
I mean,
the label's top 4.
For me, that's easily got to be in the top 10. I don't think we'll see another copy come up. Maybe ever.
No. Yeah.
And you guys have seen one recently, or
not recently? There was a guy that there was a collector that put what Joe?
I was just gonna say, didn't 5 have one by accident?
Oh, maybe that's right.
Isn't that where we were like, hey, isn't that Iran? I think
that's
Jason
that's
said,
right.
I said Iran.
Isn't that the Iranian version of that? And he was like, oh shit, I guess it is. Yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah.
So John 5 has one. And there was, I definitely at least one other collector that had one that several years ago that was we were talking about it in Wax on Facebook.
That's cool. Do you remember the label, Joe, by chance, or what the label looked like?
I kind of do.
I don't.
It says top 4, so I assume it wasn't like a Filmworks looking. Like it was something else.
No,
completely.
It's completely different.
Like those Taiwan labels or whatever.
Yeah, completely different.
Yes, I do remember it now. It almost looks like I see it here. If you look up, just go to Google and go Kiss Iran Gene Simmons. It'll come up as a Pinterest.
Ooh, maybe it's not real at all, and somebody made it on Pinterest.
Just go to the Google's machine. Okay, I remember this label now. Okay. Yes, I've seen. Okay.
Yeah, so
I remember now.
I remember now.
With its,
I remember how it started.
Yes, with. But that photo does ring a bell. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So I don't know, 2.
I mean, super high. Like India and Iran, I mean, should rocket right up to the top of the list. I feel like 1, 2, 3, like make it up from there, right? That's all debatable, but I feel like that's such rare stuff that I almost confidently can say you'll never find it.
Right.
And what's going to happen now is 46 people are going to come up on the Facebook
I got it.
and go, what?
Exactly.
You guys are fucking idiots. You know, one guy's going to be, he's going to be holding like 8 of them fanned out, you know?
Yeah.
I've been collecting since the 60s. And I was stationed in Iran and this was the only record they had.
Yeah.
All right. So let's do this, I guess, kind of to wrap up. Unless anybody has. Oh, sorry, Joe.
One more. So in the book, Kiss Alive 2 Armed Forces release.
Oh, yeah.
Tom has this marked as a 6. I don't even know what this thing looks like.
No, there are several of those.
Correct.
Yeah.
But for some reason, the Alive 2, I can't find it.
Oh, is that the one that has the supposed big sticker on the back of it?
Right. Was there one, it came in a canvas bag, or was that a counterfeit version of it?
I don't remember. I think there was a counterfeit version that had a sticker on the top of the back that had the incorrect, the error track
listing. Yes, I remember.
I don't think that's real.
Right.
So one I just did a Google search for it. One comes up on Popsic. Why it's letting me in again, I don't know, but Google backdoor, I guess. Sold on October 13th of 2014 for $450. It says super rare 1970s pressing on the AFRTS label, made for the U.S. Armed Forces. Plain white sleeve included.
Okay, yeah. You know, I have like an Alice Cooper, one of those. I think it's just one side, right? It's the label is the
generally.
flag. There's also other ones. There's Dressed to Kill.
That's right.
Don't you have that, Joe?
No. What I think they did was they have them and they combine them with other artists later on, and they're more ubiquitous then. This one I think is, I've never seen it. I don't know. I don't know anything about it, but this has been one that's sort of been apocryphal in the book, and I'd love to know more about it.
Okay.
So I would like to bring this up then, if we're, if we're talking about a list, since we pitched the prototype creatures and we were kind of saying, we can't talk about test pressings and acetates and that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Does something like this fall into that category?
Well, no, because this isn't a one-off. I mean, ostensibly this would have been an art for maybe it was sold at barracks, like the stores on, on the bases. So like they sent them overseas.
I think it was just for radio.
It was Armed Forces radio, and the stations on the bases would get them. And there was at least 60, because I did some research with my Alice Cooper. So I would say at least, less than 100, but more than, so I would say 50 or 60 maybe.
That's good information. I didn't know that. That's good information.
So they were sent to radio stations overseas.
It's Armed Forces Radio.
Got it. That makes total sense.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
That's all I've got. I mean, that's not to say that there's not stuff that's crazy rare.
Oh, I'm sure there's tons of stuff
that we're missing. Stuff that, we haven't had a chance to go through our collections and sort of go through Popsic with. But those are the ones that jumped out to me that I feel like are lacking on the list.
Absolutely. I think this has been good, a learning thing. I'm gonna just, for honorable mentions here.
Oh yeah, that's right.
These two that I wanted to suggest. These were the two that I originally contacted the group originally about. When I found Kiss My Wax on Facebook, I was like, oh, finally a place to talk about Kiss Vinyl and get some questions answered.
Right.
And I had 2 records in my possession. I had them for a long time. And the first one was this original second printing. We're all aware of the second printing here at the top. The first one didn't have it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the white label promo, 3LP white label promo version that exists, usually with a cut corner. But this is a second printing, and it's a gold stamp promo.
I've heard those are fake, John, and you should probably just send it right to me.
Yeah, yeah. The labels is, in fact, this one is It's the second pressing on the
Camel label.
the camel label, but it's the Roman numeral. It's actually supposed to be on the Filmworks label. It's kind of a misprint thing.
Interesting.
Which is an added bonus, but it's not a promo label. There weren't promo labels, but it is a gold stamp promo, which I've never seen another one of those.
Very interesting.
And we have seen that for demonstration. We've seen that stamp before.
We've seen it on a live too.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Live 2 has one
so-
just like it. And
so
other
we know that
artists
that's
of the
not an
era.
outlier. Yeah.
Yeah. It's
Right.
not like a weird, unidentifiable stamp. I mean, it's
Right.
definitely, I have records, other artists, very similar of the time period. Then, of course, the shitstorm. I always like to.
Oh, here we go.
Here we go. This
This
baby
is for
right
you,
here.
Mike Stone.
And hope to meet you guys in person one day and have you guys hold this in your hands because
Yeah.
I do, in my personal opinion, feel it's legit.
Well, we know of 3 of them. We know of 2 for sure that exist, and 1 that somebody else says that they had when we've talked about it previously on this show.
That's right.
And what that is the Rock and Roll Over promo.
Yeah.
The colored version.
That's right. The colored cover version.
Right.
Yeah.
Some people vehemently deny, including the author of this this book that we've been discussing all evening, vehemently deny that this was ever real.
Right.
Yet in very close inspection, I haven't held it in my hands, but in very close inspection, over Zoom and other things that John and I have done, it feels like, I mean, it has all the patina of an aged record. It smelled, from what John says, it smells like an old record.
And the construction of it is just like the original cover, same stock, and it's identical. And I would be the first to just, I have counterfeit stuff. I have bootleg stuff. I would, I'm not trying to pass anything off, but I just, in my personal opinion, feel like this is legit. I'm going to hang on to it regardless.
Yeah.
But
we discussed it because 5 has it as well.
Yeah.
And 5's actually has damage to it. What looks like old damage to it.
Right.
Certainly nothing in the last 10 years. I mean, it looks like, I can't remember, I think it has water damage or something. And
mine did too. Mine had what was like a bit of another cover that had stuck to it. In fact, when I bought it online, I went, well, it's a little damaged. Oh, well, I kind of picked at it and realized another wet cover maybe had gotten, so I was able to clean it off, but it had like remnants of another cover that had gotten wet and part of it.
You would just think, though, that if it was a modern
bootleg,
counterfeit,
it'd be immaculate,
it would be immaculate, and it wouldn't be sitting in somebody's collection getting water damaged,
right?
And somebody wouldn't print 3 of them.
That's right.
You would feel like with the Vinny cover creatures, you would just see it all the time.
Yeah,
right. Right. That's the thing. You never see it. So So Mike Stone, we think it's real. Type down in the comments.
Yeah.
Why you think it's not real.
Yeah, I just don't know how you could argue against it. I'd love to hear it. Like, what would be your give me a reason why you think that that's fake.
Right.
And the only thing that I tried to do, and I wasn't successful, and I have some experience in it, is trying to locate that font that's up in the right-hand corner. I think, does it say promotion not for sale, John, or something?
The wording is just like the black and white cover. It's just in that silver.
Yeah. And is the font the same as the black and white version?
No, wording is the same. The font is different. Right, because the member.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yes. So that was one thing that I was thinking. Okay, can I identify that font and see when the font was actually created? Like if it's a '90s font,
Right.
And to hold it, and the silver is just like, that's that sort of, that silver that's with Rock and Roll Over. I don't know how else to explain it. It's
that metallic silver.
Yeah. Very unique. Anyway, I always have to stir the pot a little bit.
Especially at the end. We had such a good episode going. We
were
proving for 2 hours and 28 minutes that indeed the show was not dead, and John Humphrey had to come in at the end and wreck everything.
I wanted to ask, guys, do we want to try to make a loose top 10?
Yeah.
Sure. Let's do it.
All right. So between the records that are on the list, already that exist and the ones that we've added. What do we want to do? What do we say? Joe, you want to do some writing or something? Yeah.
So
yeah, Jason, let me be your stenographer for you. Let me.
I
kind
don't
of
have
threw
a
it
pen.
out. Do you guys think the Elder India is number one?
I think it's one or two.
I don't. Here's what I'll say. I don't think if the Elder India came up for sale, I don't think it's a $7,000 record or a $6,000 record.
Again, it's that desirability.
Yeah, I think it could be a $2,000 record. I think it could be a $2,500 record, and maybe even $3,000. I just don't see it. I think for some reason this one has reached the pinnacle of all KISS collectibility.
Right,
and
that's
maybe
the Grail, the Holy Grail, and
okay. All right, fair enough.
And maybe never to be
number one.
Yeah, maybe.
I
think so until somebody else deems it necessary to spend more than that for it. I just feel like because we've seen multiple collectors now pay up for it,
right.
you know?
Yeah, that's true.
So maybe in no particular order. We want Best of KISS, we want Double Platinum, right?
Yep.
What else?
You said Gene Simmons from Iran.
I think so.
Yep. Burns Media.
Burns Media.
Do we want to keep Chile Alive 3 and 4 in the top 10 as one listing?
I think so.
And then El Salvador Solos as one listing.
Do we want to include Alive 1, 2, parts 1, 2 of Alive and 3 and 4 of Alive 2? Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. I mean, that's why I asked it. I mean, obviously, the most available to me is that part 2, but I feel like, I don't know.
Didn't we look it up and see one hadn't sold since 2016 or 17 or something?
Yeah.
It had been
part
6
2?
or 7 years. Part 1, you said, was the toughest, right?
Yes.
Part 1, yeah. Well, in any event, we'll leave the Chilean Alives.
Okay.
What else? How do we feel about this double platinum from Taiwan?
Well, none of us have ever seen it.
Yeah, I mean, it's
El Salvador Solos.
Yeah, I'd say that.
Yeah.
They stay. I'd say the Red Unmasked from Mexico.
Killers.
And Killers.
from
Yeah, I think those
Ecuador.
both jump into the top 10.
How many do we have there?
We're getting close.
What's getting close mean?
How many spots?
Let me count just a second. Let's see. Unmasked, Red, Mexico, and then Killers.
Red Ecuador.
Ecuador.
Okay, so that puts us at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Oh, God.
So unless we think that anything else, I mean, the only other thing that you could argue is this promo box set, but I honestly just don't know enough about it.
I don't either. So read off the 10 then there one more time.
So in no particular order.
Right.
Best of KISS, Double Platinum Australia, Gene from Iran, Burns Media, India Elder, Chile, whatever permutation of the Alives that you want to say.
Yep.
El Salvador Solo Records, really any color. Taiwan Double Platinum, Counterfeit, Unmasked Red Mexico, and Killers Red Ecuador.
I like that.
Yeah, I think the only other ones with any possible contention, and maybe we do those 11, 12, and 13, would be the Icelandic Creatures, the Elder with the lyric sheet, and the UK box.
Yeah.
I think those 3 would be next.
Yeah, that's what I said. 11, 12, and 13.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
All right.
So do we want to rank these now
Let's
and
put them
maybe
in an
make
order.
a definitive top list?
Yep.
Sure.
So what do you guys think about number 1? You tell me.
We'll leave Best of KISS.
Yeah.
I think so too.
Maybe it's not the absolute rarest, but it's the absolute most desirable.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
most collectible of the bunch.
Right.
What do we do next? So we've got double platinum, Gene Iran, Burns Media, India, Elder. I still think double platinum Australia is next because of the dollar amounts that it fetches when it shows up.
You don't think Burns goes above it?
Yeah, maybe it could. It
I
could.
think
That's
Burns,
a good point.
I argue Burns might be number 2.
Burns
Okay.
number 2. Okay,
Yep.
I'm okay with that.
Okay, so Burns,
and then Australia number 3.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now I feel like it's probably India, Elder, or Gene Iran, and I just have no knowledge of.
I just throw them in 1 at 4, 1 at 5, or whatever it is. Yeah.
So let's go India, Elder 4, Gene 5 from Iran. I think for me next would go the El Salvador solos. What do you guys think?
That's exactly what I was just looking at and thinking.
Well, yeah.
Hold on.
I mean,
Well,
they are you can find them. They're super expensive. I was going to throw out either the red vinyl Unmasked or the red vinyl Killers, just as far as desirability. But if I'm cool with that, we'll do the El Salvador. I can't even talk. El Salvador solo albums.
You want to do that 6? Or do we want to go... I mean, I would be fine with Unmasked Red or Killers Red, like either one of those being next.
Above the solo albums?
I think those solo albums would probably be a little more desirable just because of the bizarre uniqueness of the colors. Yeah.
Okay. It's just you can find those right now. It's like those Red Unmasked and Killers I have not seen, but okay,
it's true too.
It's fine.
And you're probably right. If the El Salvador solos were priced $800 or $900,
in reality,
they would sell.
Yeah,
they would sell, and I think that would probably be the price that you would pay for the Red Mexico and El Salvador Killers Red, right? So it's probably
a wash,
all right in there. Yeah.
So what do we think? Unmasked or Killers? What's tougher?
Unmasked.
We only saw one each. Did we see one each?
Right. They're equal.
Yeah, they're pretty equal. So I'd probably say Unmasked and then Killers.
Only one each.
Unmasked 6, Killers 7, El Salvador 8.
Yep.
See, I have a little bit of a problem with this Taiwanian double platinum, the Taiwanese double platinum, just because it's unofficial.
It's counterfeit, yeah. But no, hold on. I wonder, is the gene Iranian? It's probably counterfeit. They don't recognize international copyright law.
It might be
over there. I mean, I don't know. Maybe this was before it was before the overturn of the government there. So maybe they did.
I think that was the story that I've heard anyway.
Okay.
It was sort of like it came in at that time, and then right after that, everything changed from a religious perspective and overturned the whole country. And
got it. So maybe it is official. Hard to say. I don't know. Boy, it's tough. So if you're not wanting to go with the double platinum counterfeit, what are you wanting to go with?
Well, I don't know. We still have the Bolivia debut, the Philippines solo records, and we have the Alive 2 Armed Forces hanging out there.
Oh, jeez.
I didn't say anything.
It's a
yeah. Why not?
Yeah, there's only 45 of those available right now on eBay for $475 each.
Yeah, but not with that hype sticker.
That's right.
No, there's 22 of those.
Well, it's hard to say, man.
Here's what I would say. I would say, for me, I would put the Alive 2 Armed Forces at number 9.
Okay.
And I would put the Chilean Alive 3 and 4 at 10 and call it.
Okay.
Yeah. But those Philippine solo records with those cards, like none of us have seen them before. I mean, that's nuts. After all this time to just have those crop up is insane.
Right. I agree.
Yeah, but that's
So
a
what do we
fair
wanna do?
list. That shit's rare. I'd say what you just said.
Which was 9 armed
Alive
forces.
2. Yep. And 10 the
Okay.
Chilean alive 3 and 4.
Okay.
And 1 alive 1, 3, and 4. Can't put 2 in there.
Okay. All right. So the list as we have it. Best of Kiss from Japan is number 1. Burns Media is number 2. Double Platinum Australia is number 3. India Elder is number 4. Gene from Iran is number 5. Unmasked Red Mexico is number 6. Killers Red Ecuador is number 7. El Salvador Solo Records Any Color is 8. Number 9 is the Alive 2 Armed Forces, and number 10 is the Chilean Part 1, 3, and 4.
3 and 4.
I like that. I
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
good. That's a good updated list that
That's
still
updated.
kept a lot of what was originally in there for 2023 and the stuff that we've seen since the books were published. So, but here's a challenge: make your top 10 most collectible Kiss records and post them below.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'd be interested.
And I think if we stretched a little bit, we could easily get to 20, because I would put the Bolivian debut right next. I would put the Philippine solo records next.
Yeah.
I would put the music from the Elder with the lyric sheet in there. I would put the
Icelandic creatures.
The Icelandic creatures. This mysterious promo box from England would go in there.
Right.
The Red Originals box would go in there, and I think that would probably pretty well damn near get us to Lo Mayor. I think would go back.
Oh yeah, Lo Mayor. Yep.
20.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
What else? I think that would probably get us pretty close to 20 then, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then the Taiwan double platinum would go back on. So I think we'd be pretty close to.
Yeah.
So of the original list, we bumped out the French Alive.
Right.
We bumped out the Colombian double platinum.
Yeah.
We bumped out the Straight Jacket Dynasty.
Yeah.
We bumped out the Prototype Creatures, the Brazilian box, and Greatest Kiss.
Yeah.
And I do think this, and I do too, and I think the Straight Jacket Dynasty would probably still be in the top 20.
Oh, do you? Well,
I think
number 20. We'll leave it at 20.
Yeah, I mean, if obviously we didn't count it up, but I think it should be still around somewhere. It's a $700 record, right? And there's not many of those.
And it's desirable. I mean,
that's the thing. It's desirable.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Wonderful discussion.
Awesome.
I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah.
We shouldn't wait so long to do these things.
I know.
I want to hear everybody throw the tomatoes and tell us how terrible we are and how we don't know anything about any of these records.
That's perfectly fine.
Why are these guys reviewing and we don't even have half the stuff?
We should have our own show.
That's right. Make your own damn show.
Yeah.
All right, guys.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah,
Always
John,
fun.
thanks for joining us, and hopefully we'll do it before another year or something like that. So,
yeah.
That it, guys?
I think that's it.
All right. We'll see you on the next one.